I hate the way they portray us in the media. If you see a black family, it says they're looting. You see a white family, it says they're looking for food. And you know that it's been 5 days because most of the people are black. And even for me to complain about, I would be a hypocrite because I've tried to turn away from the TV because it's too hard to watch. I've even been shopping before even giving a donation. So now I'm calling my business manager right now to see what is the biggest amount I can give, and just to imagine if I was down there, and those are my people down there. So anybody out there that wants to do anything that we can help with the setup, the way America is set up to help the poor, the black people, the less well off as slow as possible. I mean, this is Red Cross is doing everything they can. We already realize a lot of the people that could help are at war right now, fighting another way, and they've given them permission to go down and shoot us. George Bush doesn't care about black people.
You are now tapped in with the Hood Mystic. Your favorite astrologer's favorite astrologer.
You are now tapped in.
Peace to the family. Feeling a lot of Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately type energy. Feeling a lot of we are all the same inhabitants of this earthly realm. Ain't nobody better or worse than. I'm just the type of person that's like, show me what you consistent at doing more than you just telling me what you did yesterday. If you consistent at taking baths, then I might fuck with you. If you tell me about this luxurious bath you took 2 months ago, then you a stinking ass nigga to me. So that's just the reality. Peace to the family. I'm the Hood Mystic, representing www.hoodmystic.com, columbianexchange.com, and of course, learnsidereal.com, where we got our own little social media. Every week it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. We get more souls, and we just sharing, growing. Shout out to, I don't even want to use her. I don't know what name to be using with people, you know. Shout out to everybody, basically, because, you know, it's government names, it's online names, and I don't know if y'all got warrants or whatever the case may be. So I'll just say shout out to everybody. And shout out to the mystery school, right? Because maybe you want your identity to be a mystery and you just want to tap in and tune in to the energy. I want y'all to really get into an idea of laughter. I really want y'all to stop taking this shit so seriously. Because if you taking this shit seriously, you're not able to tap into the highest levels of spiritual understanding. And for melanated people, they try to keep us in an energy where we are sad, depressed, we don't deserve shit. Our baby mamas don't love us, our baby daddies don't love us, our daddies don't love us, don't nobody love us. Nowadays, they be saying that our mamas don't love us. You listen to Kevin Samuels will look you in your face and say, your mama don't love you. And you like, what the hell? You don't know my mama? My mama do love me. I say that to say, they are trying to take you out of your joy, and please don't let nobody take you out of your joy. So I'm going to read this. This is taken from the Psychonaut, and I'm going to just get into this build point by point, level by level, layer by layer. Hopefully y'all in this space to learn and absorb new information, because that's what we do here every Monday with the weekly Astro report. So, consider laughter. It is the highest emotion, for it can contain any of the others from ecstasy to grief. It has no opposite. Crying is merely an underdeveloped form of it, which cleanses the eyes and summons assistance to infants. Laughter is the only tenable attitude in the universe, which is a joke played upon itself. All right, so get into the vibes, laugh, don't be taking life so seriously, and subscribe to the channel. Welcome, like the video if you're here watching it, help me out with the algorithms. Don't just sit and watch it. Tell your baby daddy about it. Tell somebody, tell your friends about it while you getting your shit together and they still, eating government cheese and things of that nature. Don't do that. Share your good information with the people. But I'm not going to waste y'all time. I'm not going to hold y'all up. I'm going to get right into the information because we got a lot of information to get into. This is not like any other spiritual channel. Don't compare me to other spiritual channels. Don't put me on the side by side, because 99.9% of these spiritual people, y'all think it's spiritual. So they just get up here on YouTube. They don't give y'all no production value. They might spend $20 on one of them circle lights, but basically it's just you staring into their pretty faces while they just hit you with hot mumbo jumbo, hot garbage in your face, and you just imagine it that it's spiritual. Now at an esoteric level, it's like hot sludge and doo-doo sewage all over you, right? But your third eye ain't open, so you don't see all of the sludge that's being thrown at your ass, because there's no production value, no quality. These niggas that sit up here, read from their notes in front of y'all. Just go be literally looking right now, reading their notes. Now, this is entertainment. This is a media platform. This is in the realms of Leo. So that's like if you went to a stage show, like on Broadway, and the actor said, hold on, let me read from my script real quick. For we're out though, Romeo, like you would be like, that don't work. You didn't even prepare for what you was doing. You just figure if since you can upload a video, that you should upload a video. But you can do it, but this is just a different quality. I say all of that to say, don't compare me to nothing. This is something completely different. Now, my intention for my content is for you to accept a perfect life. Well, if you looking like, well, I listen to you, I listen to him, I listen to her, that's like drinking tap water, spring water, and alkaline water. Just choose a water that you like. Don't drink of all the fountains, because it's not like you want to figure out what works for you, right? And understanding a whole bunch of spiritual mumbo jumbo is only going to confuse your spiritual pathway. So we're dealing with sidereal astrology as was prophesied in the Bible. This is taken from chapter 22 of the book of Revelation, the last book of the Bible. And I'm going to explain to y'all how it shows us that in all of our understanding, you know how people be like, well, I believe in God. And you ask them like, well, who is God? Where is God? Right? And they be like, God is everywhere. Like, oh, okay, I guess like that's not an answer, but if that's your answer, I can't argue with you. Now, if you can't pinpoint exactly who God is, then what would you be praying to and hoping to? Like, how would you let your highest understanding of life be a mystery, but you wouldn't even accept that if that was like a relationship with like your boyfriend or girlfriend? Like, who is your girlfriend? my girlfriend is everywhere. Like, what? Like, how did that work? It's just my girlfriend is there. My girlfriend is in this seat. My girlfriend is in this microphone. Like, huh? How did that work? No, my girlfriend is Shaniqua Jenkins, meaning that God has a specific identity that when they was writing these books and they was bear witnessing to God, the whole reason that everybody came together and bear witness to God because they all seen God. Hopefully that makes sense. So when you read the Bible and they're talking about God is not abstract, nor is it meant to be abstract. This is why they have the ancient Bibles, and then they have the King James Version, for which this is the Bible that was given to Americans. Because the King James Bible said, instead of, you see where God is named El, and God is named Yahweh, and God is named Jehovah, let's just erase that and just call it God. So when you might be talking about Saturn, or you might be talking about Jupiter, or you might be talking about Venus, let's make it somewhat harder for people to detect that God is the planetary forces that operate in orbit that influence our sun, which directly influences us, which creates vegetation, community, wakes us up in the morning, so forth and so on, right? Let's make it to whereas God is some abstract understanding. So let's just imagine that God is Saturn and Christ is the sun. So the son of God, meaning that the son and God is separate, but Jesus is a big deal, our son, but God is a bigger deal, Saturn. So when you look at this, you're not confused about it, and you can be like, okay, this is what they're talking about. So when you double back and triple back to me, and I'm talking about astrology, it's like, okay, now I can just dress up in my Sunday's best and listen to Hood Mystic, because he's just a continuation of what my pastor was talking about, but he's just giving me, I liked it. I like going to church. However, I just didn't understand what they were saying. Now I can kind of differentiate between, God is Saturn, Christ is the sun. Thus, we're just doing astrology out here in these streets, but not Western astrology. We're doing sidereal astrology. LearnSidereal.com. So let's read and let's try to understand what it means to live a perfect life. Then the angel showed me a river of the water of life, clear as crystal, flowing from the throne of God and the Lamb of Christ. In the middle of its street, on either side of the river, was the tree of life, bearing 12 kinds of fruit, yielding its fruit every month, and the leaves of the tree were there for the healing of the nations. There will no longer exist anything that is cursed, because sin and illness and death are gone, and the throne of God and the Lamb will be in it, and his bondservants will serve and worship him with great awe and joy and loving devotion. They will be privileged to see his face, and his name will be on their foreheads, and there will no longer be night. They will have no need for lamplight or sunlight, because the Lord God will illumine them, and they will reign as kings forever and ever. That is the perfect life. So very quickly, in the middle of the street would be the sun and a fucus. We'll see this later in the build when I'll show y'all where the sun is at. And it's literally in the middle of the street. On one side, you have Sagittarius. On the other side, you have Scorpio. So you have Ophiuchus, and on the other side of the river of the tree of the life, bearing 12 kinds of fruit, like segueing back to the original story of the Bible, which would be Adam and Eve and the serpent, where she ate the fruit from the tree of life and made them be like gods. But all of this is understanding the constellational influence that's happening celestially. So for the ancient, they wouldn't say space or the cosmos, they would say heaven. And when you die, you go to heaven. Thus, you would go out into space and live among the stars, right? But the most concentrated part of the sky would be the Milky Way, hence the river of the tree of life, yielding its fruit every month. As the sun travels through each of these constellations, it would have a different energy, right? If we are able to understand this, there's no reason for us to be cursed, because we are not in this world. We are a part of the universe. And if we could understand that we're in both places, yes, we're on earth, but yes, we are a part of the heavenly. We are children of the Most High. The Most High being the Saturnian influence, structure, order. Saturn is the black planet. Now, what do they call us on Earth? They call us black people. Why do they call us black people? Our skin isn't black. But Saturn is also connected to a time when the world was perfect. And then this great cataclysm happened, right? And now the black people identify as slaves, right? It's not something that I'm making up. You know, we could, if we were to sign up for school right now and say, what is our history? As black people in America, they was reference slavery as the root to our history. But if you see, like, why do they do that? Because if you were to go further into that root, you will find the fact that we are actually kings. Black people, kings and queens of the earth. And until we get to that actual level of celestially, cosmically, uniformly, with structure and order, living as if we are truly perfect from our cosmological understanding, based upon electromagnetic energy, based upon our skin, based upon how we heal ourselves, based upon how we do this chakra work. Because part of it is to really get to a point that you're not being judged by what you are on earth. You are being identified by who you are as a cosmic being. And if you could absorb and integrate that cosmic reality into your daily life, you live a perfect existence. Can I get some ones in the chat if that makes sense? Or did I hit y'all with some mumbo jumbo that confused y'all? So El is called again and again Toro El, the bull god, the bull god. He is the creator of creatures, the father of the gods, father of man. He is creator eternal. The epithet in Hebrew form in the Hebrew name of God eternal, Genesis. He is your patriarch. El is the gray-bearded ancient one, full of wisdom, Malku, king, father of years, El, the warrior. He is also named of unknown meaning, variously rendered as Latapen, Latapeni, shroud face, Strong's Hebrew Concordance. El, father of heaven, Saturn, and his major son, Hadad, father of earth, Jupiter, are symbolized both by the bull and both wear horns as headdresses. Okay? So what we're talking about in the Bible, you see the word El, you also see Elohim and Pleroma. These are planetary energies of understanding that influenced and created the earth that we live on today. Now, why they just call it God is because it's simpler that way, right? And it throws you off the scent, and it just kind of have you in a passive state, because although these energies exist outside of us, as Bobby Hemmett would say, the human being being a child of the Most High, has the ability to be much more powerful than even the cosmos, because we can have that celestial understanding, but also be in the vessel and not be led by the vessel's temptations, lusts, greeds, all of this dumb stuff that human beings are into. So when we look in the Bible and they're talking about God, the majority of the time they identify God, especially in the Old Testament, as El. And if you do your study, you can get into a point where it's clear that El is Saturn. Thus, God in the Bible, for a large point, is the planet Saturn. And so when we pray, when we heal, when we try to meditate, when we try to get into a space of, I don't like where this is at, I want this thing to be better, or improvement, we're talking about a golden age. We're talking about a space where Saturn was the god of, like, we could bear witness to a god in the sky providing light, energy, heat, food, right? And it went away, and we didn't have that guidance any longer. All we had was darkness. And then what we notice is that the smaller creatures began to be more powerful than us, because what had happened was the spirituality wasn't so clear. God wasn't like, okay, let's just imagine you're growing up with your dad for 18 years of your life, and your dad is like an awesome person, right? He's the man, really. You don't want for nothing. You don't need for nothing. And then one day he just gone, right? You are your dad, right? But you have to learn how to become your dad. You have to learn how to become God. And that's the hard part. The easy part is looking for God outside of yourself. The easy part is looking for a dad, a father figure. But to become your dad, become God, is a space of doing chakra work. This is the importance of chakra work. Now you can do your Googles on what rules the root chakra. The planet that rules the root chakra is Saturn, because Saturn is how we ground. Saturn is how we connect to the earth energy. Now, the earth energy is vibrating from the rays that it picked up initially from Saturn. This is where we have vegetation. This is where we have growth. This is where we have nutrients. All of these things that come from the earth. As human beings, we have to learn and persistently connect to the root energy. The problem is, if we haven't trained ourselves into connecting to the earth energy, then we will quite naturally look for that father energy through our relationships, through our career choices. Saturn, Capricorn, rules the 10th house. So we want to find a career that would make us satisfied. We want to find a relationship that has us, be happy. And all of this is not specifically learning how to heal yourselves from the chakras. Because if you have the relationship, if you have the career, fuck the chakras. But even if you have the career, even if you have the relationship, you haven't efficiently and successfully healed yourself if you haven't done the grounding work. And it's not like, well, I did the grounding work. I took your Chakra Nova. I was in every Chakra Nova class last year, hood. No, you got to be rooting today. Today, you got to wake up and root yourself. Monday, even, is the day for grounding yourself, connecting to the earth energy to heal yourself persistently. It must be a normal and natural thing, or else you will fall into the normal human aspects of my relationship should heal me, my bank account should heal me, my doctor should heal me, this reading that I get should heal me. When the reality for all of us, 99% of us, because that 1% have incarnated to be actually taken care of. But if you able to click on a YouTube video and work your phone, then 10 times out of 10, you have the ability to heal yourself. So, do you know how to read an astrology chart? Let's talk about that. So yeah, I'm trying to not do that, but do this. Okay, yeah, this is what I was looking for. So hopefully y'all be able to see the this is my chart, and this is how I'll be able to translate and understand these transits for which I'm going to talk about. You need to understand where Venus conjunct Pluto, where's Capricorn at in your chart. For me, it's in my 4th house. Interesting thing about my 4th house and my 5th house, as y'all see, I have no natal planets in my 4th house and my 5th house. So this is much of me creating something that is going to be difficult for me. It's not going to be an easy thing for me to understand Capricorn, 4th house, home. I'm like so flighty. I'm not like a home type of person. Like my shadow work has been like in like going to like hotels and stuff like that, and like trying to, in my mind, like you paying all of this money for a hotel room every night, like that is a lot of money. You need to get a place to stay. Like that was my shadow work a long time ago, and now it's coming back to the point where, all right, how do you do this actually, right? Because it's easy for me. Like me and my wife, we have conversations. Like for me, I just be like, I could just live anywhere. I could just do anything personally. But then I got 4 children and a wife that they not, I can't be flighty. I can't live in a hotel with children. I gotta be much more strategic. And this is a challenge for me, right? So this is Venus conjunct Pluto in my 4th house. Like I could be very, what's the word I'm looking for? Irrational when it comes to housing matters, because I have no planets in my 4th house. I have no foundation. And it's always weird to me, like my whole life, I could drive around like wherever I'm at, and it just would never really, like, I cannot fathom how y'all just live in a house. Like, it's like, how do people even get in these houses? Like, what are y'all doing in these houses? Like, y'all just in your house, like, just watching TV. Like, what are y'all doing? Having sex, like, playing board games. Like, I don't understand what goes on in houses. But that could be because I don't have any planets in my 4th house. Now, if you like me, you might be looking at your chart and be like, all right, well, where do I have to do shadow work at? Me, I have to do shadow work in my 4th house, 5th house, 7th house, 10th house, and 12th house, because these are the houses that I don't have any planets. 2nd house, 3rd house, 1st house, I can understand that. But say, for instance, like if your 2nd house, you can understand making money. But if you don't understand your 4th house, well, where's that money going to go to? Like I can wake up and make money, but I need to figure out. So for me, since Pluto has been in my 4th house for a while now, it's been more of like buying a home, for me. Like, have to figure out how to buy a home. And so the first thing was, of course, fix your credit. So guess what I've been doing for this past 2 years? I've been aggressively fixing and working on my credit. And it's been cool. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a bad thing, because honestly, I never paid attention to my credit. How old am I? This might seem crazy. I didn't never even pay attention to my credit seriously until I was about 36. I'm 37 now. So for a year, I've been like, okay, because I had bad credit. And so I figured bad credit, just going to be bad credit until, maybe 10 years, you'll look at my credit and then be like, oh, it just got better all of a sudden. But I wanted to get a home for some reason, and I felt like I needed to work on my credit. And now my credit has improved a great deal, and I feel better about, okay, let's figure out this housing situation, because at a deep level, I want to just be out in the world with my family in a fucking RV, just like, we here, we just everywhere and anywhere. But that don't sit right with my heart. I feel like I need some type of form of a foundation. And as I'm studying, and of course, you don't never get to a point within your chart that you're just like, okay, this is the absolute truth. It's always kind of like you make the best decision based upon your family, the conversations that you have with your partner, conversations that you have with your kids. Because as I'm realizing, my oldest child is 8, so he can perceive life to a point where he like, well, this ain't adding up, and as an adult, you can be like, shut up, boy. Or you could start to be like, all right, for me as a father, it's like, you can't be your best and true self because your kids is even looking at you. So for me, it's like, all right, what do I have to do? To be like in all levels, because that sun and Leo is really shining up for me. Was like, let's get on stage. Let's hit the road. Let's do what I got to do. Let's talk to who I got to talk to. Let's organize. So I'm so grateful for the mystery school, because it's like, all right, this year, 2022, I'm going to be active in my community. And it's like, I feel like, okay, that's powerful, you building up a community. But I'm not even in true alignment with how big that is even going to be. Like, I'm even the fact that I'm doing it is like a psychic part of me is doing it for me. And as my conscious mind comes into the reality of, oh, we got our own social media network. We got a whole bunch of people that's on the same shit that we on, and we don't got to worry about YouTube or Instagram or none of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, everything is happening based upon my chart. So this is why I'm showing y'all my chart. So hopefully that y'all can get into a space of looking at y'all chart, then looking at the transit superimposed on your chart, and seeing how the collective energy is influencing you personally. And in what house is it actively influencing you? This transit that I'm going to talk about next, the sun, Sextile and Jupiter, where it's crazy to me. But when I'm looking at my chart, it's like, yeah, it does make sense how I don't have any planets in my 5th house. I don't have any planets in my house of creativity. Don't mean that I'm not creative. It means that I never sat with myself and really thought like, hey, you creative. You can help people through your creativity. I had no planets there. So it's just like, what the fuck? But Jupiter transiting my 5th house is making me be like, okay, shit. I expand through creating. Because Jupiter transit in my 5th house, I can align with this energy that maybe wasn't innately in my DNA processing of life. I just kind of went through life just imagining that I'm not creative, and thinking that I'm not creative, it just takes me completely out of life's flow. So if you're not creative and you can't create your reality, then you're also saying that somebody else is creating your reality for you. And if you don't got good people in your life, that could be really scary. And for me, that just explains my depression and sadness for a majority of my life, because I didn't realize that I create my own life and my own destiny. I figured because I didn't have, my dad around, or because my mom was working, or because I was fat, or, all of these particular things that you can think, as opposed to, hey, so if you got planets in your fifth house, take that and run with that. If you got any planets in Aquarius, take that and run with that. As opposed, because what you'll notice is that most people have parts about them that you might see, but they just don't see it in themselves, right? And for me, really, if I'm not having this conversation, if I'm not looking at my chart, if I'm not looking at Jupiter, and if I'm not looking at my fifth house, it's so easy for me to not even recognize the creator within me. Is the message that I'm trying to bring across. And for me personally, that's detrimental for a lot of the things that I'm trying to do in my life. So I say that to say, where is Jupiter at in your chart? Where what's happening in your chart? What's going on in your chart? Have you looked at your chart lately? This is something that I'm going to do every week, because if I'm not looking at my chart and studying my chart, then I can't even pump y'all up to doing no astrology whatsoever, right? I got to constantly look at this moon conjunct my midhaven to recenter myself. Okay, you're doing what you're supposed to do, right? You're living subconsciously. Your subconscious is directing your business, because this whole conversation that I'm about to have with y'all is a conversation that I've been having with myself probably for this past week. So, and that's always been my content. There's these things bubbling within me that I'm like, these things are happening on the inside and I have to get them out. Now, if nobody pays attention to it, then that's cool. But generally what has happened is that, my wife can bear witness to that. We have, week to week, progressed and made money and continue to grow in our business, because we have these energies within us that we just want to bring to the forward. And another thing of doing this consistently is that I've actually noticed people just kind of steal the swag, which is kind of interesting, that, people don't even have this ability naturally. So with all that being said, please study your chart attentively. Like, get the books, understand what these things mean. Don't look at it, well, I didn't get it, I didn't understand it, because if you didn't understand it at first, I understand. Even to this day, right? I'm looking at my chart just now, getting brand new downloads. And I say all of that to say, you might not get it at first, but just keep swinging at the bat. Keep swinging at the bat and don't even give up the game. Like, the game is forever. This is a game that we play forever and ever. And it is understanding ourselves at a cosmological level, at a mythological level, at a deep subconscious, unconscious level, which will begin to be our directive consciously. Imagine that your rooting is going to lead you, understanding your chart is going to help you understand the things that you need to work on, the things that you might need to do some shadow work on, so forth and so on. It's so much that you can learn from studying your chart and taking the information, corresponding it to who you are, because you know who you are. You know what you did last summer. Your astrologer don't know, your psychic don't know until you tell them. But otherwise, since you know all of the things that you've done, studying your chart, trying to figure out where you're going to go based upon the cosmos is only going to help you. And so this is why I do what I do. And to find that fire, even in this moment, is kind of why I do it, because it's real easy to say, I put out a book, go ahead and buy it, as opposed to showing you where the application in the book is found in and the kind of questions that you can begin to answer once you start study your chart. So, I mean, everybody's chart is different and everybody has different questions, but as of now, you know, after doing thousands of readings, I can say effectively and affirmatively, you gonna have to do your own work. Can't nobody save you. Sorry. So, as I was saying, thank you for letting me know that there was no sound. The sun is in Ophiuchus, and this is a very important time for us to really get into our spiritual energy. Like, regardless of astrology, where it's like the sun is in Sagittarius or the sun is in Scorpio and all of these things, you want to be very accurate with what you're actually looking at and what it actually means. Like, beyond all type of astrology could be those things where you listening to an astrologer. But I want astrology to be this thing where you intuitively tune in to the celestial energy for which you inhabit, and it influences you. You are a star, so astrology would be the study of yourself. Now, the sun being in this Ophiuchus energy, you have to really listen to the rays and the energies that are like being sent down. And it's real easy if you're not working, if you're not in a relationship, if you don't got routines and things, and you kind of like a free spirit. It's easy for you to absorb the energy. But for those of us who are working hard, in our relationships tough, our kids giving us trouble, all of this life shit, we're not able to hear the spiritual channels and the spiritual energy. And even deeper, the sun is sextiling the energy of Jupiter, where Jupiter is entering to the energy of Aquarius, and Aquarius is giving energy. It's giving this abundance of energy. But if you are overworked, tired, drained, not getting what you want to get out of your relationships, you think that somebody owes you. And so you can live your life completely cut off from the flow because of the choices that you've made. But I want us to be very clear that everything begins to dissipate if you can be spiritual first. You solve your problems from day to day if you just kind of release and begin to start to answer your questions based upon you asking yourself these particular questions. And another way you can really get into a space of allowing your spiritual energy to exist is if you find yourself not giving. If you wake up, go to sleep, and you haven't helped nobody, then you have to begin to do some real examination work. Because why? Because not helping people, you're not receiving nothing either. Right? And it's like when you boxing, to throw a punch, you got to open yourself up. This is where you got to be quick. You got to throw a punch and recoil. But see, life ain't a fight. If you are giving, you also are open to receiving. And generally, we find ourselves to say, I want and I want to receive. Well, just open yourself up and give. But to just say, I'm open, why are you just going to be open? You're going to be open and giving and energetically. For like smart companies, real smart companies, they do things called like consumer testing, where they have to see about if the consumer likes the product or not. But they not charging people in their test. They're really trying to see, like, do you like this color? Do you like it this way? Do you like it that way? Should we twerk a little bit before we give it to you? You don't like twerking? Okay. These pheromones work with, like, you got to figure it out. And the way that you figure it out is by giving. If you can't give, then that's really the issue. Because say, for instance, you want to have a successful product, but ain't nobody buying your product. It don't mean that your product is bad. It mean you might need it to twerk while you was delivering it. You might have been doing Instagram videos where the algorithm had moved from videos to just doing specific reels. So here you have this wonderful idea, but because you are limited in how you could deliver it, you didn't figure it out. So in marketing and advertising circles, they call it A and B testing. Right? You give them A and B, and then you just figure out, okay, people vibrated to B. I'm going to put my energy into B. But first of all, you had to give them A and B. If you didn't give them A or B, people would have never decided nothing. So when I'm talking to people, a lot of times this could be you, where it's like, okay, I have this wonderful business idea, and I think it's going to be great. Well, have you positioned it to people? No. Why not? Because I don't know if they're going to like it or not. Well, you only going to know until you put yourself out there, right? And honestly, with that in mind, if you can put yourself out there, then putting yourself out there, you are going to get the benefits for putting yourself out there. It sounds so trivial. It sounds so simple, but I can only reflect as a person who sat and just waited for success to happen. You know, how could a person buy the book if I didn't write it, if I didn't put it out? So as I was writing it, as I was putting it out, then these are reduced to psychic functions, because what am I doing with my time? I'm researching, developing, coming up with different things for which creates this product, then put out this product. I spent months in preparation for something, right? And it's like, you wasted your time. No, I didn't waste my time. I was preparing. And then once I still will do ads for the first book I wrote 5 years ago. I'll be like, all right, let me just wipe everything off the table. Even deeper, the only thing that I know for sure that is going to sell is How to Read Natal Charts of Easily and Effectively. Everything else, I'll be like, And do I think that How to Read Natal Charts Easily and Effectively is my best work? Absolutely not. But I'm not the decider of what people want. So when you do your test, I could think y'all need to get Astrology Explained. That's the book that you need, because Astrology Explained got How to Read Natal Charts Easily and Effectively in it. At the end of it, you get the whole book at the end of it. So you could just get the one book. Don't matter. Right? So as a producer, as a person who's coming up with stuff, you are not the decider of what people like or what they don't like. But if you business savvy and you trying to make some money, you better have a whole bunch of alternatives and options to figure out what does people want. If you give them one lingerie set of just one color, one size, well then only I said BBLs. What's a BBL? Only BBWs are going to be able to buy your lingerie. Why don't you get small, medium, large, extra large, 2X? So a variety of different shapes and sizes could be able to choose from your product. But that will require you to put in more work to just start to think. First of all, I don't know how people are going to respond to the things for which I'm advertising or promoting or marketing or selling or speaking or whatever. I don't know if they're going to like it. However, I will create alternate ideas. If I do a black, I'll also do a white, just to kind of see where do people like, and then I'll invest my time into what people like. Now, this is very difficult at first if you just want people to love you. It's real simple if you're figuring out, I want to help people in the way that they want to be helped. This is where it gets very, very simple at. Now, a lot of people might not be into business. A lot of people just be kind of just, taking care of themselves, working, doing their 1-2. The sun sextile Jupiter from this aspect is more of like alchemy. It's giving me very much alchemy vibes, where the first thing that you're thinking about, if it's negative or if it's something that's triggering, don't allow it to just calcify. And even deeper, I don't think the energies of the world will even allow it to calcify, because everything is just so fast moving, and that everything is kind of a result of how you are able to vibrate and magnetize and connect with the world. And even deeper, you might have relationships, like you could be growing at this deep transformative level, but the people that you love staying the same. Now, as a bodhisattva, as an ascended master, you can just be like, all right, I'm gone, y'all. I see y'all when I see you. Or you develop that compassion to begin to want to teach and evolve and help those that you love. And knowing this is really the key, because you could be down here and having the goal to teach and elevate your people, but then being mad that they not teaching and elevating like you teaching and elevating. They still on the ham, right? They still on the bullshit, and it's allowing you to get frustrated, as opposed to just kind of learning how to figure out the different ways to speak to people. If you could figure out a way, a balancing point to talk to your tribe without abandoning your tribe, finding that point where that A and B test of somewhat ratchet, somewhat spiritual. In marketing, they talk about being at eye level with your consumer and raising them up, right? But you don't come down on your, why is y'all doing that? Y'all know y'all shouldn't be doing that. Y'all should be doing it like this. And then they be looking at you like, shit, I got more money than you. I'm sexier than you. Well, I got to listen to you, right? You got to really figure out how to relate to people in the most deep, relatable type of way. And this is an alchemical process. Because in your heart space, like for me, let me just say, the easiest thing for me to do right now, I'm 37 years old. I just fucking say, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go to fucking Hawaii and just be in Hawaii. I could trade. I'm making a killing trading the stock markets and the Forex markets and the crypto. Kids, mids, wife, schmife. I could get a different girl every night. You understand? What is life, right? But my heart space is not. No, you got to figure out. It's not about elevating and living this fantastical life more than it is about solving the problems for which you help create based upon your environment. And this is the work, right? Because the work is not running away from your problems, right? That's the easiest thing that you could do. That don't even require no work if you really sat and thought about it. That requires no work at all. But to look at the tribe and the collective and say, you know what? We about to sit and figure this shit out. We about to reverse these spells. We about to reverse these curses. And trust me, this process is it's slow moving too. It's not even like a quick moving process, but I'm telling you, if you're able to light the incense, burn the candles, pray over, send energy, and make it persistent to, a process of a overall, we're healing and we're bringing about a synchronization and an alignment to all of the things right and exact. Slowly but surely, family, you'll start to see the world in your life, in your family, in your tribe's life. Everything will slowly begin to change because the reality of the celestial cosmic healing reality of all of this is that we are self-healing apparatuses, right? We have the ability to learn how to connect to the earth energy. And as a soul being, if you can give that and illuminate and educate your tribe into healing themselves, now you've done the work. And the reality of the work is that it's never completely done. So you begin to expect troubles and issues, but the difference is you as a doctor, as a healer, you have the prescriptions, you have the knowledge, the wisdom to treat as, ailments come to you. Right? And of course, your vision of how you see your tribe, Sun conjunct Jupiter, these are not energies for which selfish. This is the Sun sextile Jupiter is not a selfish transit. You gotta start thinking about other people. Like that's the whole premise of it. Jupiter in Aquarius ruling the 11th house. Who you giving to? Nothing. You giving to your dog or your cat? Maybe. But you ultimately want to give to another human being in a whole group of human beings. That's the real alchemy. Healing yourself from your trauma, that's great. But now you got to go to the cookouts. Now you got to go be around your family. And now you got to hit them with, okay, I'm Hotep and you not. That's a huge disconnection. Especially when your heart, it hurts from the pain that your family and friends experience. And it's so easy to say, you know what? Fuck y'all. It's much harder to get into the pits of ignorance and say, through the power of my ancestors, through the power of the cosmos, I'm here to heal this situation, and figuring out how to heal my tribe, how to heal my collective is what I'm here to do. You can ignore these people. You can act like you better than people, but at the same time, I see suffering, and the suffering comes from people not being connected to the actual earth energy. And you might see people struggling with the fact that they got crusty ass skin, so you develop a lotion or a solvent that'll help them deal with their eczema. And then you got to figure out how to present your lotion to people every single day because you marketing your business. And then you're saying, well, it's so many people with crusty ass skin. I need to figure out how. Do they like black labels or do they like white labels? Right? I'm trying to give y'all a holistic idea of the sun sextile Jupiter, for which you could figure out how you are going to help the collective in your unique special way, right? And you stand in your authenticity, you stand in your healing. You're not, all right, I need to help people so people can know me as the helper of people. No. Right? You're doing it because you could have ran away. You're doing it because you don't need people to tell you Hotep and you spiritual. You're doing it because your heart is at a certain level of resonance that brings about a level of compassion. Now, when you bring out the etymology of compassion, it breaks down to, with you, I will suffer. Not with you, I will elevate and talk shit to you and make you feel bad and act like I'm better than you. No, I will suffer with you because this is how deep my love for you goes. Now, do you have to suffer? No, because we can learn how to connect, how to do chakra work, and we can learn how to heal ourselves. So when you look at Jupiter in the energy of Aquarius, you can also see that Aquarius represents the energy of Anuket. Anuket is associated with the yearly flooding of the Nile. So we started off this conversation of Sun sextile Jupiter of putting yourself out there. You want to put yourself out there because at the end, you'll get the abundance of the Nile flooding, which would be your abundance and prosperous energy, for which it's like, oh my God, this just happened to me. That's what it would look like. But you know, it couldn't have just happened to you until you put yourself out there. Okay? Until you put yourself out there, now you got the benefits of the flood. Now you got the benefits of prosperity. It's like setting the seed, right? You put the seed underground, and then the now, you know, it floods, and then it assists the fertile ground for the seed to become a fruit or a berry or a tree or a plant. But if the human being didn't plant the seed, and not just one seed, I don't know who just be planting a garden with just one seed. So we doing A and B testing. We doing a whole bunch of seeds in a row and just seeing what plants grow. Right? We don't know. Ain't no way you can know that a plant is going to grow into a goddamn orange tree. But we just kind of give thanks to the energies that persist, that exist in the world, that allows for cultivation and growth. No human being comes in the middle of that. Thus, it has to be a God-like energy. So we just give thanks, and you know, to most people, in ancient history, they'll say that they worship these particular energies. And I say, I understand. I understand why they would worship these types of energies. And Mook, thank you for the donation. You understand what I'm saying? None of this comes easy. So please, all donations should go to $ Hood Mystic 38 on Cash App, or tune in and tap into the super chat. But let's get into a commercial break and let's continue. A thin line between love and hate, and it's also a thin line between Venus and Pluto. So watch this energy this week, because a subconscious drive and a conscious mentality is two different things. As you can see, Venus is one level, Pluto is a whole different level, and trying to understand both of these levels is going to be, it's easy to get into once you are able to see it. But if you didn't even expect it, like you not even got your Inspector Gadget eyes open, like to even be like, all right, what is your subconscious drives? Then, like when you younger, right? And this is only from, I can speak from like maturity. When I was younger, I didn't even notice it. But you know, when you younger, certain women won't give you the time of day. And you like, well, I wonder why she didn't give me no play. But I think women can sense what your drive is based upon your conversation. It just comes up, because it's like, you know, sex, right? I want to have sex with this person, but I can try to fake and do all of these things that I'm thinking that you know, Mac Daddy smooth, but a perceptible woman can say, oh, he just wants to fuck. So either I want to fuck and I'll play into it, or I don't want to fuck and I'll just stop talking to him completely. Now, when you mature and come into your wisdom, you begin to communicate more clearly, more direct, because your subconscious drive might be in alignment with your conscious drive. And it's like, I want to start a business with you. I want to grow with you. You know what I'm saying? You know, you just have these conversations that are more pure and more stimulating, versus if you're disconnected to your drive. If your drive is, I want to have sex with this woman, and you're just consciously just like going off, you know, bullshit, then y'all might connect from a drive point, but ultimately, you know, the relationship will be that. You know what I'm saying? Say, for instance, consciously you're like, well, I want to be in a relationship with you, but the drive is, I just want to have sex, and her drive is, I just want to have sex. But consciously y'all not communicating in the space where I just want to have sex, but y'all communicating in, we need to be in a relationship, and we need to do this, and we need to do that. Y'all get into the relationship, have sex, and then you get into a space where it's like, damn, what the fuck did we say all of this bullshit for? Why did we go through all of these types of things, when the reality is that all we wanted to do is just fuck each other? Like, why can't we just say, I just want to fuck, right? Because Venus is never aligned with Pluto, meaning our subjective and our subconscious are never in the same space. We always want to pussyfoot around the point and ultimately don't do anything but damage ourselves. So Venus conjunct Pluto into this energy of Capricorn represents change. But if you look deeper into these cards, which these cards represent the first decan of Capricorn, you get a certain type of symbolism where it's like, all right, one, you don't want to waste time, and two, you want to look at the whole list. You want to look at everything. right? Having a conversation on your subconscious drives, like what drives you, what motivates you. And ultimately, what you'll notice is that if a person isn't forced to think about these things, then they have no fucking clue. This is why the subconscious and the shadow work becomes to be the most important aspect within a relationship. Because a person might have even had a goal, right? To just get up in there, right? And once they got up on there, they ain't never think beyond, like, all right, what are we going to do now? We in this relationship? What's our goals? What are goals? I'm just here, right? I'm just here. Hey, I'm just here. I'm your baby daddy now. So what you mean goals? What you mean direction? Look, I'm just about to just be here, just call me when you need me type shit. And it's like, wait a second. We need a direction. We need something that says we are in this thing together. Because what will tend to happen is not now, but long story short, I've seen this in experience. You ain't gonna know who that person is 5 years from now. So why play the game? Why do things acting like we gonna be together and we're not even connecting at a subconscious level? So what Venus conjunct Pluto would like to do is to show you who's down for you and who's not down for you. So the number one aspect of this card or this deacon is change. And so change is good. Change is natural. Change happens at all levels of existence. Now, are your emotions in aligned with the changes? And the way that you determine how your emotions are is, doing the shadow work, doing the journaling, because you're not just like, your subconscious is running this shit. And if you're consciously trying to like bulldoze your way through life, bulldoze your way, like, oh, I get readings, I get money, I'm in relationships, that's the end of it. No, you have to do this deep channeling, journaling work, or else you could be the problem in your relationship. You could be the reason for which your readings or your reader don't even hit. Like, you might say, well, you're not a good reader, you're not in tune. But here it is, you don't even know what the fuck you want out of your life. I could be telling you everything you need from the gospel to the goddamn revelations, and if you get off the call with me and start fucking smoking crack, dealing with, who you dealing with, then what is the point of you telling me I'm a good reader or a bad reader? The most important part of this whole entire game, whoever you get a reading from, whoever you having sex with, however much money you making, is, are you in tune with your unconscious and your subconscious? Can you differentiate between your unconscious and your subconscious? Are you completely tuned in and tapped into the conscious and the physical and just hoping that it works out? Well, your basis of your pyramid is going to be completely out of whack. So what's the difference between unconscious and subconscious? Unconscious are the deep archetypal drives that we unconsciously seek to actualize in life. Drives for self-actualization, universal meaning, soulmate, gender role, parental roles, etc. Subconscious are the fears of loss and abandonment, drives of love and belonging, the hurt and rejected child within, acted upon but not normally conscious of. How does that translate for me is people that are in relationships with no skills to handle the relationship, because the reality of their life is that they are a wounded child. Now, a wounded child, you might feel sorry for a wounded child, but that wounded child cannot benefit you. Now, let's let's look at this thing let's just look at lives and relationships and then look at this man and this woman over here getting in this divorce and he giving up all his money, or, you know, all of the men that's in child support cases and this, you know, yeah, you need dick discipline on one, but the reason that you need dick discipline is because these women will take advantage of you if you don't have dick discipline. And it's not to be like bashing on nobody, it's just the reality. If a rejected child is not going to help you, she may look physically, consciously, like she is on your team, on your side, right? But the most important part of subconscious is that a person is not normally conscious of it. So when I start to say, well, I want to be my authentic self within this relationship, you know what happens? A woman is going to get triggered and say, oh no, you cheated on me. You did this thing to me. And no, what has happened is that the parts of you that wasn't healed are coming to the surface. And instead of healing, you're going to get on a horse and run away. And what did we say earlier? Running away is not healing a situation. It's simply running away and allowing that wounded child to stay wounded. So how do you heal the subconscious and unconscious? You have to develop, and I got an actual prompt in the shadow workbook, where you start to journal how you love yourself at an intimate level. Because if you don't love yourself at an intimate level, there is no way that you can love your partner at an intimate level, because life don't work like that. Because physically and consciously, a person will have sex with you. They'll have sex with you 10 times, 7 days out the week, and never solve the subconscious and unconscious work. And just because you having sex, just because you in a relationship, just because y'all share keys and split the rent, or he pay all of the rent and you live rent free, whatever the situation occurs in your relationship, have y'all done the subconscious work? Because if y'all haven't, it's not going to take care of itself. Why? Because the subconscious, you're not normally conscious of it. And if everything is working as you want it to, perfectly fine. But then when the troubles happen, when the triggers happen, now this is who you really dealing with. This is who you really dealing with. And as a man, you gotta know that you do not get into a relationship with a woman without having an aspect of your being that is a healer. Like, you can be mad at me for what I'm saying, or you can understand what I'm saying. Most of y'all is hurt little girls based upon the fact that your daddy is your daddy. Your daddy got some pussy one day. He didn't figure out, okay, I'm supposed to heal my wife and I'm supposed to heal my daughter. I'm supposed to give them this protection. No, he got some ass one day. A very small percentage of men in the population in the 80s and 90s was fucking awakened to their spiritual heritage and spiritual energy. At best, they took care of their households. At normalcy and at worst, they got some pussy that they really should have never got. So since, you got that a bit, and trust me, you could be a man that took care of his wife and took care of his kids, and your daughter still got abandonment issues. Because we are not normally conscious of these subconscious areas. And to have a psychological hold on life, it takes a lot of studying. It takes a lot of peer-reviewed notes. You got to really dig deep. And I say all of this to say most men trying to deal with the fucking rent and deal with everyday life, niggas don't got time to be reading peer review articles and studies. Therefore, they don't have the time to say, you know what? Let me address my child and my wife's inner child. Because the reason that they act in the way that they acting has everything to do with me, and because I'm the symbol of the person that hurt them. As a man, you are the symbol of everything wrong. You're probably not the one who did it, but as a symbol, it's like if I'm walking down the alley at night and it's like an old lady walking and you know, I'm the person that they afraid of. So I could either play into that or I can make it to be like, hey, how you guys doing? Wonderful night we having tonight, isn't it? Right? Because I know psychologically that they are afraid of me. At an unconscious level, at a subconscious level, they're not normally conscious of the fact that, hey, this black man is bigger and stronger than me. I got way more money than him. So he could probably be mad at me because I got more money than him and probably rob me and take my money and process it all this in their mind or in their subconscious mind, and it just all come to a surface as we walk in each other in a dark alley. Now that could make a person want to do something to me who don't even know me, but because I'm a symbol, everything comes to the surface. So if you're not psychologically sound, you could look at that situation like, oh, why are you afraid of me? I ain't do nothing to you, this, that, and the third, which most people do. So I'm giving y'all a scenario. I'm giving y'all a whole layout of how our subconscious and our unconscious areas rule our life. So the reason that you're not successful in your relationship is because you have not done the work to heal that part of you. That little girl within you is still hurt. And because you got a fat ass, because you got good pussy, and you know that niggas is weak for a fat ass and good pussy, or whatever you offering within your relationship, you use that as an excuse not to do the work. But then when Venus conjunct Pluto and all of this shit comes to the surface, it's starting to point fingers. And you know, all of this, all this type of energy, when all you had to do was really get into your subconscious and unconscious bag and get into the nitty gritty drive, because 10 times out of 10, what drives a man out of the relationship is not being thanked, not being appreciated. This is a question that I always pose for people, and I never have gotten an answer. If y'all got an answer, please light up my comments with it, because this will, you know, bring a joy to my heart. What is the benefit for a good man? Like, what does a good man get? Like, right off the rip, you know what I'm saying? Because generally, if I was a horrible man, you got A, B, C. I'm going to call the cops on your ass. I'm going to run. I'm going to scream. I'm going to tell everybody that you ain't shit. You know, the whole gamut of what happens when I never see the opposite for just a normal, regular dude. Because the normal, regular energy, there is no place for that for a person who isn't trauma at a subconscious and unconscious level. Meaning that we're so disconnected to our subconscious and unconscious level, we haven't even created the conversation beyond how we treat a normal guy or a good guy just in regular conversation. There is no real output for being good. There's only a recourse for when you are bad, when you are triggering. And even deeper, when we get into the spiritual shit, I don't owe y'all niggas a damn thing. Just because I decided to talk about spiritual shit. And it's real easy for a person to be like, well, I don't like you. I don't like this. I don't like that. 2022, I'm letting you know that there's no way that you can like me or love me, because in reference to anything, you haven't dealt with your inner child. You don't even know what you like or love. You still waiting for something bad to happen. So people will subscribe to my channel, come in my DMs, befriend me, and then wait on bated breath for the moment for which they can say, you know what, Hood, I don't like that. I can't even fuck with you no more, Hood. I can't even, cause now I'm saying the shit, cause 2022, I'm changing the topic and the way that I'm going into pure comedy. Meaning that I'm going straight for your woundedness. Because your woundedness has no place in growth and development. As black men, we can see the woundedness. And I'm not talking about the low lives. Because black men don't even fuck with the low life energy. Like, we've been not fucking with low life. So when you start to deal with the reality of a relationship and being a good man, the next threshold is, what happens when I'm a good man? Because we can talk about like all of the conversations about what happens when you do alchemy, where you turn your goodness into greatness, and now we have to be great together. At a subconscious and unconscious level, because what you will try to do is at a conscious level, at a feeling level, all of these types of things, you will be a good man. And a real good man also knows that that's not enough. When you are serious about your relationships, you are also serious about healing your wife's inner child. Let me tell you why. Because in 2021, when you meet a girl, she's not going to be a virgin. She's not going to be a virgin. She done got fucked real good. Had wonderful sexual experiences that you won't even come close to. She's also been hurt at a deep level by these men, at a level that you will never even hurt. You will never do the things that these previous men have done to her. However, she has the scars. And when you say, you know what, I'm going to marry this woman, you also say, I'm going to have to heal this woman too. Or else, when you, all right, so say for instance, you say, all right, I don't have to heal this woman. Then when you just, a good man like you is, a good man like you always been, what tends to happen is that energy start to come up. Negative, she start giving you her ass to kiss and it don't add up. And then if you ever was to have the conversation, all of the time that you was putting in and being selfless, it wasn't never adding up to, let me be grateful for this experience. It was, it could be something as simple as, the times that you was going to work, I thought you was cheating on me. Okay. Just checking something. So the times that, I thought that you were, just misperceiving the whole entire situation because y'all never having these conversations in reference to what happened between you and your dad. Like, what happened between you and your dad? What was the moment that you had this expectation of this perfect person in that moment that he didn't live up to it. Now, the reality is that your dad, there was never no script written that said your dad had to be the person that you expected him to be. And the amount of woundedness that you accepted based upon your expectation is the amount of healing work that you need to take care of, sis. Because your dad don't really owe you shit. He gave you what he was supposed to give you, which is life. So other than that, and he probably was a he a decent enough type dude. Or maybe he was horrible. Give or take, right? But if your dad was great, you still got work to do. If your dad was horrible, you still have work to do. Where does the work lie in healing? It lies in your ability to expect from a man. And then, so you expect your dad to be perfect, golden man of bronze, save the day. Then you get into a relationship with little old me. Guess what, fellas? She wants you to be the most amazing man in the world, and your ass be out here trying to be that. And then you get home after trying to be the best man that you can be. Still, there is no point of, you've done it. Because the goal was to heal the situation, not fulfill an expectation. When you get into a relationship, Venus conjunct Pluto, you are there to meet her drives. So subconsciously, she hoping that you are going to fulfill this need that she has to have. As a psychological healing man, you have to go into the situation saying, I know what you think I'm going to do. I know you think it's what you envision that this life is going to be, but what part of you hasn't been healed yet? And of course, you can get therapy. You can see a psychologist and pay all of this money. But the person that you with, a majority of time that you're going to spend your life with, that you're going to be absorbing their fluids, why can't y'all begin to heal each other at a psychological level? Why can't you understand that this person is only acting out of hurt, acting out of ignorance, acting out of society, telling them one thing and that being completely wrong, and now they have an opportunity to heal, and the only way to truly heal is in a masculine, feminine based relationship. Because within that masculine energy, boy, you are the symbol for all types of bullshit that you ain't never ever done. But if you get the opportunity to be in a relationship with a woman, you can show her every day that no, masculine is not that, it is this. Masculine is not going to hurt you, it's going to help you. Masculine is not going to lead you astray, it's going to lead you in the right direction. Masculine is something that you can trust in. And if you can create this positive archetype of what masculine energy is for you personally, then you are actually healing within your relationship. Because a majority of men are going to get with your wife and fuck the shit out of your wife and tell her dubs, pieces, deuces. And them abandonment issues is going to increase tenfold, because here she is sharing herself, and then that man's going to abandon her. Now you gotta get into a relationship and show her that this is not what it's about. Most people ain't strong enough to really get into the minutia and the nitty gritty of relationships, and this is why 50% of marriages end in divorce. Because you can, like, it is so difficult to have expectations in a relationship. It's so easy when you get into a relationship and saying, I am here to heal. I am here to heal. And it's even more powerful if the man says, I am going to heal. And it's even more powerful if the woman says, I am here to heal this man. I'm here to show him that, no, I'm not going to just use his energy. I'm going to show him that this is how healed love looks. I'm not going to just give him wounded energy and make him be the solver of all my problems. I'm going to give him and pour into him as just as he pours into me. And Venus conjunct Pluto can be a beautiful experience for you. 10 times out of 10 though, if his woundedness there and you haven't sat with your woundedness, you haven't done no shadow work, you just kept showing your titties on Instagram. You kept showing your ass on Instagram. You kept seducing men into wanting to have sex with you, as opposed to inviting them to heal and inviting them to sit down and heal with you, then you are the inviter to your own trauma. Cause I be on Instagram like everybody else. Like, she know what she doing with them damn videos on them stories showing them titties like that. It's like you putting a fucking piece of salmon in front of a bear, a grizzly bear. You can't be mad at the grizzly bear for now wanting to eat that piece of meat. At a subconscious level, I think about it in myself. There's probably a part of me that will take over that I probably don't even have a conscious mind of in relation to a sexual situation. So for me, I got to put myself in cages. We can only meet in public places. Because you might do some shit. I heard about one situation where a person was wearing a cat suit, and you wear that cat suit around me, I might, turn into a tiger. I thought I was trained. I thought I was tamed, but now you walking around, meow. Like, you feel me? And so we got to really get into, if you're in a relationship, a serious relationship, and you arguing with your lover, you traumatized with your lover, and you going through shit in your relationships, y'all got to start focusing more on relating and more on healing each other, because the anger, the triggers, and the emotions are the parts of the person that you love that aren't healed. The beautiful part about a relationship is that y'all can become doctors amongst each other. Y'all can become healers amongst each other. You're supposed to heal your wife. She's supposed to heal you. Period. If you can't heal each other in your relationship, if things come to the surface and you want to run, you don't deserve that woman in your life. You don't deserve that man in your life. Y'all gotta look at, where do you feel abandoned? Why do you feel these? Like, it should be psychological conversations happening all the time between you and your partner. If it ain't, then that person is expecting the most in the world out of you, and you trying to live up to that shit. Guess what's gonna happen? When it crash, it's gonna crash, right? And now y'all gonna be looking at each other silly, looking at each other, weird. The subconscious is ahead of the conscious, and we never know what really drives us. We never know what really drives us. So Venus conjuncts Pluto exact on December 25th, where y'all think Santa gonna come down slide that y'all Trinity, y'all might see Santa Claus, Miss Santa Claus, come sliding down the goddamn stripper pole, right? You might be waking up in the goddamn stripper place, because now you getting in tune with your real drives. And that inner hoe energy gonna come out, right? And hopefully, you know, your partner, you know, it's like a role play. Like, can you role play in your relationships? Can you really get into a space where this is who I'm authentically am? And I've read a lot of books. I don't know this to be a fact, but every woman has a secret hoe-like energy within her. Is she tapped in and tuned into it? It's different levels for each and every woman. So, you know, I don't view it as like hoe energy is bad energy personally. If it wasn't for hoe energy, I wouldn't even be here talking to you. It's the hoes are the real healers, the Pombagiras, and the ones who have an understanding of her sexual energy and able to, you know, stand in that and understand that my sexual energy is a healing energy. So if you are a stripper or if you a sex worker, you doing more healing than the MDs and the doctors, because let me tell you, a man who is doing everything that he's supposed to do for his family and got extra money on the side, guess where they be at? Where do the men be at once they took care of their business, took care of their home, wife at home, dinner cooked, all that, kids asleep, tucked in? All right, babe, I'll see you later. I'm about to go out. Be up at the strip club looking at Tatalicious. Why? Because a man views a woman as a reward. That's the reward for you taking care of your shit. Now, if you can offer this within your relationship, you good to go. But 10 times out of 10, you feel like you can't be your true host self in your partnership, but your partner secretly, subconsciously, you look down his Instagram face and it's just a whole bunch of ass and strippers. Where's the clear heels at? And it's like, okay, you're going to have to learn about this type of energy if you're in a relationship, because that's our reward. We don't want a hoe we don't want a hoe per se. We want our wives to be our hoe. But not we don't want our wives to be a hoe. We want our wife to be our hoe. Hoe, ho, ho. We want our wives to be sexual and free sexually and in tune with herself sexually, to know that, you know, she is a sexual goddess. She is sexually desired by, we want that. So Venus conjunct Pluto energy, can you allow the Pombagira energy to transform you and bring out that whole energy in your relationships without it causing any tension? Where it's a fun, free expression. It could lead to growth and development. It can lead to healing. The next time you give your husband some pussy, don't just give him no pussy, give him some healing. How are you going to heal your husband? With your pussy. Like, for real? And it's like, well, you only thinking about sex. No, I done put money on this shit. I done put time, energy. I done drop all my other girls for you. You all I want. You all I desire. Now, can you be my present? Can you be my gift? Right? Can you be my reward for my loyalty, for my faithfulness? And these is how we be reciprocal in our relationships. Or I'm giving y'all the solution. I'm giving y'all what could possibly happen if you can understand this energy holistically. For a majority of people, they just going to be fucking, right? They just going to be out, like, you know what I'm saying? Just doing them, and they never going to get into a space where I didn't have to run away from my relationship. I didn't have to cheat on my partner. I didn't have to abandon my family. I could have just alchemized the energy and created a whole deeper, like, it's like, well, your husband is sad and all you doing is overeating, not working out, just being who you are, right? Because who you feel like being. And at the same time, it's like, damn, your husband got eyes. Your husband have a mind and a heart that you can't ignore. Every man has this sexual energy, and it's like, okay, he gonna get this pussy, he gonna be in this relationship, he just gonna take care of me, and that's the end of the story, and I don't gotta do shit for him. That's where Santa is creeping and crawling and looking for the ho ho hos. Because at the end of the day, subconsciously, at the deeper levels, it just don't work like that. You can't get into a relationship and say, take me as I am. Play Mary J. Blige, take me as I am. A relationship is not that. A relationship is an elevation. It is a growth. It is a choice. It is effort. It's constantly putting your best foot forward. And if you can honestly step in that energy, great. But what tends to happen is Venus conjunct Pluto, you get a result. Are you righteous in the love that you have for your partner based upon your growth and development, and saying, like, do you look at your partner like you look at your supervisor? You hate your supervisor, but you love your partner. You love your partner because your partner accepts you, but yet and still you work harder for your supervisor and you hate him. Your supervisor give you tasks, you show him your task. I did your task to the highest level of could be done for. Are you happy now? Type energy. And all you did was come around your husband in some leggings and a bonnet. You went to work, you put on makeup, you took a bath, you brushed your teeth, you put on an outfit. You get around your husband, you throw on that same old t-shirt, bonnet, take your makeup off. You like, I love you and I can finally be myself. At the conscious level, at the physical level, because men aren't creeps and men aren't assholes, they say, okay, I can accept you. And yeah, I can tolerate it. I can accept it. I can accept it. I can accept it. Day in, day out, to the point that you might equate acceptance with value and like and subconscious drives. And acceptance is because I love you and I can tolerate it. But when your subconscious or your shadow comes in, it eats that shit that you accepted. And then it's like, why you always coming around me with a bonnet on and leggings? Why don't you ever get dressed up? And it's like, well, I thought you liked it when I never said that. I just accepted it. Right? So Venus going through this retrograde could be very easily you saying, okay, let me absolve all accountability for who I am as a person, or learning to transform and level up and really love yourself, really love your relationships, and not say, okay, I cannot go into I can't go into a situation in life where I'm bettering myself and then treat the person that I quote unquote love with no respect. If I respect him, if I view him, I can't look at my supervisor and dress up and go to work and subconsciously say, I love my job more than I love my husband. Can't do that. You got to really say, all right, let me give this energy, let me give this man the same respect that I give my job. Meaning that, oh, I got to put effort into this relationship. I got to go the extra mile for this man. And it's easy to do that, sis, if you have healed your abandonment issues. If you have healed the fact that this man is not your daddy. This man is not your ex-boyfriends. This man is not the strangers that you fucked at the club on the lonely Friday nights, for which it's like for women in sex is like candy and kids. Every time I walk up to my kid with a lollipop and I say, hey, you want a lollipop? My kid is going to accept the lollipop. So if a woman accepts sex from a man, you ain't doing nothing special. It's just you accepting a lollipop. The only thing is, when you get into a relationship, you imagine that all of the times you accepted lollipops is just swept under the rug. If you haven't healed that part of you that wanted fucking sex and random ass sex, then you will shadow project, because the man that you in a relationship with, he won't hold the same frequency as the men that you you had one night stands with. So it's not your partner's issues and work that you need to do work on. It's your work on. Why would you be fucking dudes like that? And then not doing any psychological healing to say that you're not, what I mean by you're not talking about it, you're not embracing it, you're not doing any alchemy around it, you sweeping it under a rug. And when you sweeping it under a rug, now it's like you have no way to heal it. And in relationships, when there is no way to heal these particular things that have happened in the past, we tend to, it's like a energy that is like fight or flight. It's like, well, are we going to work through this, or are we going to just break up? What you will notice is that since most people don't have the tools and most people aren't doing the chakra work, people aren't doing the shadow work, they're just like, this is too much to handle, so I'm just going to break up with this person. And hopefully the next person that I'm with, they will be able to handle all of this baggage that I'm collecting, right? And it's like, relationships do not work that way, fam. It don't work that way. So do the shadow work in your relationships. Y'all got a whole week to begin to develop a conversation in reference to the parts of you that need to be healed, minus the points where you expecting out of your man the healing that you should be doing your damn self. The type of situations a man or a woman saying, I want a person to take care of me, is also you saying there are parts of me that I haven't healed at a human level that I want this person to take care of me like a child. And the question is, are you a child or are you an adult? Are you a spiritual being? Because then when you are a spiritual being, you understand that the spiritual creates all of this shit. So you can't fake a relationship. You can't fake love. And ultimately what tends to happen is that these systems that are not meant to happen, they break down. And you could be scratching your head about life and like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do? I'm trying to be so fake and I'm trying to create these images and these images are crumbling down. Stop being fake. Stop worrying about what people think about you and do the shadow work in your relationship. People can listen to this whole segment on Venus conjunct Pluto and be like, damn, what's happening between Hood Mystic and Mama Mystic? Are they okay? In this whole entire time, I wasn't talking about this. Cause not obviously, but realistically, me and my wife have conversations and my wife has healed me and I've healed her. We are healing each other persistently and conceptually. Our life is based upon healing each other and seeing each other elevate. Now, can I say that about everybody else's relationship? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So please don't look at what I'm saying and be like, well, you must be going through something in your relationship, because contrary to, it's not even about me and my wife. It's really about how you are transforming and how you are healing your inner self so you can be successful in your relationship, so you can be healed in your relationship, so you can heal another person. And not only will you say, I watch Hood Mystic videos or I watch this person videos, but I actually stand in and heal my partner. My partner heals me, and I'm actually existing out here. Because until you are activated within your masculine and feminine principle and standing in that shit, you are trying to get there. And you don't know that you're trying to get there until you get there. And I was just watching something recently, and it's like, every rich man, every powerful man has a wife. I'm gonna repeat that. Every rich, powerful man has a wife. You mean in all of this money that a person can get, all of the whole, I got $1 billion, I got millions of dollars, I could buy prostitutes and hookers every single day. I don't never have to tie myself down with a wife, but I choose to. Why? Because that's how life works. You can't be the most powerful man and stand in the shit that you want to stand in as a man and not have a wife by your side. It does not work like that. So when you tune in and tap into spiritual people talking all of that talk, you better check and see if they got a wife holding them down. Because if they don't have a wife holding them down, my personal opinion is disregard whatever the fuck that they saying, because they are not even activated. They're not even tuned in. Like, to start a car, you need a positive and negative charge. And until you get a positive and negative charge, that car don't even fucking start. So don't miss me. I could talk all types of shit before I got married to my wife. And everything that I said before I was married, I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. I thought I did. It sounded good. I read the books, but creating an energy for which I'm able to cultivate and encapsulate a divine masculine energy is what is my meaning for life. So, take my words with a grain of salt. Let's get into some spiritual shit.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
You are now tapped in with the Hood Mystic. Your favorite astrologer's favorite astrologer. Time to tap in now.
You are now tapped in.
Peace to the family. This edition of Spiritual Shit is brought to you by me, because I fucking did this shit. So give me love. Give me love. Fuck it. I want fucking love for doing this shit. No, I'm just playing. So Spiritual Shit is a segment that I created just to have fun and also enlighten people in how, spiritual works for people who just probably new to this, don't know how shit work, and then turn on YouTube for their spiritual guidance, and then you are fucked, right? Because now you gotta listen to these people hit you with the mumbo jumbo, And now you don't know what the fuck they talking about, but you imagine that they know what they talking about, so you just sit and wait and hope that these points kind of connect. Let me help you out. These motherfuckers never get to a point where they ever make any sense. They just hold you at bated breath, moment to moment, and you just shadow project your greatness on them. So let's remove all shadow projection and let's get into some spiritual shit where I'm gonna go point for point, and you can take notes, you can laugh, you can watch it, listen to it. I don't know how you gonna receive it, but I'm gonna just go for what I know, and let's go. First point. Nobody is coming to save you. And I don't care how pretty they are. I don't care how many subscribers they get. I don't care how many people they link up with. I don't care what is the scenario for which they're presenting an aesthetic that presents themselves as somebody that is going to help you in your spiritual journey. Do they know how many dicks you have sucked in the back alleys that you have sucked dick at, fellas? You get in these, like, see, I'm gonna tell y'all, I did this reading in Columbus, and I met this dude. He was a barber. You know how when you getting your hair cut, motherfuckers be like, all right, what you do? And I'd be like, well, I'm an astrologer, YouTube this. I'd be like, oh yeah, you gonna have to read my chart one day, homie. I'm like, for sure. And you know, he's like, man, I really want a reading too. I'm gonna call you. So he set up a reading or whatever. I'm like, yeah, so just meet me at the mall. We can do it at the food court at the mall or whatever. He like, all right, bet. So I'm reading this chart and shit. Middle of the chart, he stopped me. He said, man, for real, I was thinking that this was going to help me with my problem. I said, what's your problem? He said, man, just really like having sex with transsexuals. And I'm just like, I don't know, fam. I mean, I'm just like, I don't know if I can help you with that. Like, I don't know if that's a problem. I don't know if I can help you with that. I just don't like. And then I just kind of was just like, oh my God, like, but when I tell you that this dude was so fucking handsome that he didn't have to have sex with dudes. He could, like, y'all, he probably somebody, like, he had kids. You would have never even thought. That shit scared me, because I'm like, I know he gonna leave this reading, like, because even at the mall, he was pulling chicks. Like, he was one of them type of dudes. He'd be, hey, what's up? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, I can understand why 10% of the men father 90% of the children, right? I get it, right? Because you got to be a bold ass type of individual to really be out here. Long story short, as a psychic, you can't be prepared for what a person is coming at you with. And if you doing backdoor alley shit, then don't expect for me to be like, oh, I know all about that shit. See, the problem is, like, I don't fucking know him. I did not even know that you had a problem with juggling balls, my guy. Like, I don't see it as a problem. First of all, that's the thing. Like, if you juggle balls, then you just, that's how you give it. That's how you live life. I've been taught that, and I've learned that you can't judge people for the shit that they do. Now, the reason I say all of that to say, people judge themselves for the things that they do, and then they want to get a reading for the bullshit that they doing. And it's like, first of all, it's probably not bullshit. If you a homosexual, then just be a homosexual. The problem was, he was a homosexual, but he wanted to be in a relationship with women too. He wanted to be a dad and be, you know, He-Man and shit. And he wanted to get a reading for me to help absolve him from that, when it's just like, bro, all I can do is go dress shopping with you. Like, we at the mall, let's go to Macy's and see what size goddamn sundress fits you, fam. Cause you're I can't help you be authentic. No psychic, no reader, he thought that the astrology reading was going to bring about a level of authenticity within him. And I'm saying, bruh, I can't do that. Let's go to Rainbow and what kind of heels you like? Let's go to Charlotte Russe. Let's go shoe shopping, my guy. Let's drop the facade, right? Anyways, nobody is coming to save you. You are here to save yourself. Nobody is going to magically enlighten you when you watch a video. These people have scammed themselves into millions of dollars, millions of views, and here you are still sitting on your bed crying at night. You know Sadhguru's videos word for word. You know them more than you know a future song. But you haven't translated into the point of application. Because the things that these people are saying cannot be applied. It's more of mumbo jumbo, flim flam, scams. Have you waited on bated breath for the next thing to happen? And even deeper, I heard that some of these spiritual people want you to get the fucking shot, fam. They be out here like, well, actually, what I said about meditating, I really didn't mean that. Instead of meditate, how about we vaccinate? And now, you know, you like, how could Sadhguru say this? And he probably wasn't shit from the beginning. You shadow projected. See, shadow projection is twofold. You can shadow project your negative energy and you can shadow project your positive energy. When you shadow project your positive energy, where you are the leader, where you are the speaker, you waste time and energy projecting your admiration onto a person like Sadhguru, when the reality is you should be the one speaking from your authenticity and not listening to him. You should be figuring out how it is for you to put your shit out there in a level for which you going to put it out. There is no enlightener. Nobody gives a fuck about you when they're doing the things that they're doing. They can only think about themselves if you really saw and thought about it. It's only you that do the shadow projection that does the work for them to say, oh, well, this person is deep. This person is healing. If I listen to them, I am healed. That is not doing the work. Free your mind and your ass will follow. If you are willing to open up your mind, because this is what happens. Like my man who got the reading. You probably are bisexual, homosexual, you like guys, you like having sex with guys, but you're not able to converse and have the conversation and just talk about the shit. So since you're not able to talk about it, it creates shadow for which your mind isn't free. Thus, your ass is somewhat stagnant and backed up, no pun intended. So if you're not able, like, the point of life is to be spiritually free and to be liberated from all concepts. The main concepts that we deal with are the things that we do that we are ashamed of. And since you are ashamed of some shit, you sit in your shame and then you like, well, I listen to Hood Mystic. What work have you done to free yourself from your shame? Fuck listening to me. Listening to me don't mean shit. If you ain't able to free your mind, elevate yourself, do some chakra work, journal in your fucking shadow work journal, get some revelations. Y'all sat here and saw me have a whole revelation about myself. Because I'm trying to understand myself in this shit. It's nothing that I can say that's going to magically happen from just listening to me. Even deeper, I don't even want that to be the case, because I don't never want it to be a point where it's like, I take showers for y'all. I don't take showers for nobody. I don't eat for nobody. I eat for me. I take a shower to clean my body, meaning I'm willing and able and just strong enough to do my own work. I'm doing it, hopefully, like that people is willing to do their own work and we can have their conversations and we can have the breakthroughs surrounding us doing our own work, coming with our own shit. I don't want nobody to say, well, Hood, I'm doing exactly what you did. No, don't do that. That's going to get you into situations and circumstances that I don't even want for you, fam. I want you to figure out what your soul is telling you. I feel like grounding and root chakra work are ways for which your soul can speak to you outside of what anybody is telling you. Free your mind and your ass will follow is a deeper way of saying you imagining that everything is happening based upon your conscious, like the shit that you're hiding, the shit that you're refusing to do work on. And then you want to link up with people and talk to people and work with people, knowing damn well you haven't done the healing work. Knowing damn well that you ain't willing to change, but you hoping that a person will accept you. Now, what will happen, the story that I gave earlier about how women would reject me when I only wanted to deal with like pussy and they could kind of peep it that what I was wanting. Generally, what I'm noticing is that when people want to deal with you for the space of you healing them, that's the same way of you to be like, all right, I ain't dealing with you, man, because you want me to heal you, when the reality is that you're supposed to heal your fucking self or be in a space where you can, unless you want to be my lover. Because if we friends, right? But when we in a relationship, now we got an obligation to heal one another. And like Marvin Gaye said, we do this healing sexually. Right? And if you ain't ready to go there with a person, then stop acting like how my words gonna heal you. My words is like the tool. You can't use the tool. You gotta apply the tool to what you working on. Free your mind and your ass will follow. Y'all think that spirituality is easy. Y'all think that paying a certain amount of money for a certain service or a certain reading or getting a certain book is going to be y'all end all be all. And then the fuckery shit that y'all do, y'all don't want to address and deal with that. Y'all don't want to address the nasty shit that you doing. The horrible shit that you doing. But then when you tap in and tune into spirituality, a person is telling you, oh, all you need to do is look, it's a full moon. Let's do this and let's do this ritual and let's do this, that, and the third. And ooh, it feels so good being here. I'm so happy that y'all tuned in and tapped in. No, that's not spiritual. Spirituality is not something that's easy, because the reality of making it hard is that you got to be present. Being present is very difficult because you constantly got thoughts, emotions, energies, frequencies, disruptions, distractions that are taking you from your point of centering yourself. Now you in the fight or flight, you getting triggered, you going through this, you're going through that, and now 10 times out of 10, all the spiritual shit that we discuss thrown out the window. Because it wasn't never real from you in the beginning. Your spirituality was based upon who you listen to. Your spirituality is based upon the things that you have collected over the years. the people that you talked with, the people that you rub shoulders with, and this somehow makes you spiritual. You spiritual. All of your occurrences and all of these particular things, but your ability to be present, your ability to ground, your ability to heal the ones that you love, kind of shaky and shifty. Why? Because these are the things that are not easy. These are the things that are difficult. And when it gets difficult, people just kind of forsake and just kind of shun spirituality, because spirituality is very hard. To sit and activate your chakras and keep your chakras activated, meaning that you don't exist in fight or flight. Even more so, to sit and understand your chakras and understand your emotional life, to identify your emotions, to just stop saying, well, I ain't feeling it today. What the fuck do that mean? You ain't feeling what? Do you know the emotions for which you experience? Have you identified the emotions? Have you gotten to the root to why you feel the way that you feel? Do you allow the way that you feel disrupt every fucking good thing that you got going for you? Do you say, oh, I want to do this, and then something happens, and then what happened to the shit that you said you was going to do? I ain't feel like doing it. See, you thought just by saying it, it was going to be alakazam, walakazoom, and spirituality is the hardest fucking thing on the planet. Because a majority of people, they don't even want to be spiritual. When I was doing this shit a long time ago, all of these celebrity influencers and Instagram pages and meme pages, that spiritual miracle and, doing the shit that they're doing, they didn't even exist. So now when you get on Instagram and you search for shit and you find pages and you be like, well, I follow the shadow work Instagram page and they be giving us daily memes on shadow work. That's me doing shadow work. No, the fuck is not. I follow the polygamy pages where they talk about how the fuck you following a polygamy page and you ain't bringing polygamy into your relationship? You just in polygamy forums and looking at everybody being polygamous. Because being an actual polygamist is hard fucking work. It's easy to look at it and observe it and talk your shit. Well, I haven't never done it yet, but I'm looking into it, that's easy to do. Right? To talk about your psychic powers and your psychic visions down to the point that is become one with you, that's a hard thing to do. Because y'all will accept, it's a lot of people who are crazy, but have alchemized their craziness into a form of a psychic vision, but it ain't a psychic vision, they're just still crazy. Because the only thing they ever did what was easy. So, this idea, this notion that spirituality is easy and all I gotta do, y'all can I listen to Bobby Hemmett lectures all day, but did you buy the books that he mentioned? Did you do the rituals that he put down? Did you apply the teachings, or did you just listen to him on YouTube because you could? Because if you started to, now you gotta buy the books and now you gotta spend your money. That's hard. Some of them books ain't cheap. You ain't gonna spend $100 on a book, but you will spend $100 on some goddamn loud from the dispensary. Because spirituality is very difficult. You can, when you go to my home and you look at all of the books that I purchased and things of that nature, not to brag or boast, but you could also say, damn, this boy done wasted a lot of money on these fucking books. That could have been goddamn blunts. I could have, all of these books, I could have bought goddamn ounces from the dispensary, right? Spirituality is difficult. And then when you start to actualize and do the readings and do the help and deal with the community, they don't even want to be dealt with the fact that, hey, you got inner child wounds that you have not dealt with. Yes, you grown. Yes, you have a pussy. Yes, you got abs. Yes, you got muscles. Yes, these girls will give you pussy, young man, but that is not the work. The work is to figure out where you need to do shadow work at and begin to improve yourself. Because it's real easy to point out the things that I do good. But when I look at my fucking fourth house and my fourth house is in shambles, that's where I really got to do my work. That's where I'm really tested at. That's where I'm really having to not. That's where my fight or flight and my hormones is like, ugh. And I can talk with the best of them. But when I'm doing my own shadow work, it's like, oh shit, I know that I ain't perfect. I know that I need work. And let me deal with that shit. Let me address this shit. Let me work with this shit. As soon as I get off this goddamn live, I'm working on my shit. Now, what I'm coming into in 2022 when I'm doing readings and I'm talking to people is I'm segueing far away from just, blowing smoke up your ass. Because, you want you pay money for somebody to blow smoke up your ass. You don't pay money for somebody to challenge you and to give you shadow work and things of that nature. So it's not where you get in a reading to get to your adjustments, because honestly, you don't need a reading. You need to take care of the shadow shit that you are not taking care of. Your fuckery. You know that I don't know if you're on fuckery, because I'm not Inspector Gadget. And if I knew, I just wouldn't care. You want me to just say, okay, you're perfect. Well, no, that's not how it works. Because to get a reading is also to say that you need some form of adjustment. You need some change. And what I mean by tell me I'm perfect is mean that, oh, we're such an alignment. This person is giving me everything that I need to hear at this particular moment. Because if that's the case, then you also understand that human beings without shadow work are under a deep hypnosis psychosis that everything they do is right and exact. And everybody else is the problem. So when you invite them into a psychic and a spiritual setting, is a big, bigger orbit. Now you want your psychic to tell you, you perfect and everybody the problem. So it'd be like, well, I'm going through this situation with my husband. What's wrong with him? Why would you imagine me to assume that it's a problem with your husband because I'm your psychic? Do y'all see how that work? What if the person that's getting the reading, that paid the money to get the reading, is the wrong person, just dead ass wrong? But because they paid me, I can't just be like, well, you on some bullshit, sis. Actually, he ain't the problem. I think the problem is you. Now, as you know, a money-making person ain't going to say that, because ultimately, right, that's going to ruin the money that I'm making. But I'm saying, going into 2022, you can't just be imagining that you perfect and being told that you perfect and imagining that that's the work. Even deeper, getting readings is not the work. You know where this comes from? This comes from being a Christian. You know what being a Christian comes from? Being a Christian comes from being a Catholic. What's the root of Catholicism? The root of Catholicism is indulgences. What are indulgences? Indulgences are where people go to the Catholic Church, pay money to be absolved from their sins. It fast forwarded into when you go to church, you give tithes. And you go give your tithes as some form of measuring to have good luck spiritually. But 10 times out of 10 is just a hustle for the church to get money. Right? So, boom. We then transferred that into our occult conscious thing as to, let me purchase my spirituality. So, getting readings from this person, getting readings from that person, getting readings from this person. And it's like, I am doing the work from getting readings from people. Right? Getting readings could never be the work, because I might tell you to jump up and down. This person might tell you to jump side to side. And this person might say, run around in a circle. So how the fuck is you going to jump up and down, jump side to side, and run around in a circle and then be like, well, I'm trying to, get my spiritual life right by doing what? Jumping up and down, jumping side to side and running in a circle? Well, who told you to do that? Well, this person told me to do this, and this person told me to do that, and this person told me to do that. Never once did you think that that's crazy as fuck. Never once did you think that really, like, if you have one reader that you trust is good, but ultimately a reader is someone like a therapist, meaning that you should only go to a reader if you're having a difficult time. Meaning that I want to pull you out of difficult time, and once you get out that difficult space, I don't want you dealing with me all the time. Why would I want to, it's like a doctor is only going to deal with people when they break their leg, right? So essentially, you don't want that person's leg to be broke. So no news is good news, feel me? You understanding what I'm doing, applying what I'm teaching you, you raising Kundalini, bringing about a level of dealing with yourself, you don't have no fucking problems past that. The only problem is when you remove that spiritual intelligence that's within you, and now you trying to figure it out through reading tarot cards and doing astrology and doing all this stuff, when the reality is that you should have been doing that shit the whole entire time. Don't just come to it once some shit go bad to you, because 10 times out of 10 it's too late. So getting readings is not the work. The work is what you do persistently, consistently in the realms of spirituality. But why would you do that? Because spirituality is not easy. To be consistent in a spiritual practice, to say I meditate every single day consistently, or not even meditate consistently, I'm just trusting my intuition consistently. Maybe my intuition tells me not to meditate. Maybe my intuition tells me to do something, but your intuition versus your psychosis. Your psychosis is damaging, destructive. Your intuition is growth. It's like to reach out to some person and to share positive energy with them, to say, you know what, I was thinking about you and let me help you with what you need help with, because I know that you need help with this. As a goddess, as a healed goddess, you operate in the energy of Anuket, providing prosperity. Now, you're not going to provide that prosperity if you are unhealed, if you are hurt. To heal yourself, to not be hurt, is very difficult. To be spiritual is extremely easy, because all you need to do is get one of them cheap ass ring lights, get a fucking camera, position it in such a way, and click go live, and then hit people with esoteric mumbo jumbo. That's easy. To say I'm gonna do the work and to, not rely on a person's consultations to get into the nitty gritty of some shit, now you have to unmask yourself. Now you have to get into the root of your drives and who you are as a spiritual being and live in that shit. If you are a healer, then heal. If you are a giver, then give. If you are a doctor, then do some doctor shit. If you are a stripper, then start stripping. If you a hoe, then start hoeing. If you a man, then be a man. If you a god, then be a god. But who you are, you have to remove all of the facts of the mask and the personas and the personalities that you imagine yourself to be. And the stress and the anxiety is from you trying to be two people, your real authentic self and this fake ass person. And your real authentic self is in pain. So you can't deal with your real authentic self, because your real authentic self is your inner child, your abandonment issues, and your expectations, and your refusal to do the work, and your refusal to heal. So since you don't want to heal, you put on a mask, you put on makeup, you dress up that mask, you show off your ass, and you hope that everything is everything, and you hope that I'm not going to perceive past what you are showing me. Is that your real hair? It's not. Okay. I don't see that. I don't see that. Is that your real face? That's not. Okay. Okay. I'm just going to move that thought out of my mind and then talk to you like a real normal human being. See, a rational person is not going to be able to handle that. It'd be the same way if I showed up here with this YouTube video and I had on a white boy wig and I had on makeup to make myself have a light skin. And you see these little blemishes that I got, these little wrinkles. I just threw some shit on there to cake this shit up. And then I'm just like, hey guys, today we're going to be talking about Venus conjunct Pluto. And the motherfuckers would be like, bro, I can't take you serious now. You got on the white boy wig and you got on makeup. I would have to just continuously unmask myself and get to the real crux of who I am, as opposed to having people accept me for who I want to show them. It's a real big difference. The work is in unmasking yourself. The work is to not fucking show me this pretty, beautiful face that ain't real. It might attract me into some shit, but now that I sit here and get here, and now this is all am I getting, you ain't never going to take it off? You ain't going to never show me the real? Because no, when I show you the real, I'm going to show you a part of me that isn't healed. And when I show you the part of me that isn't healed, is a very wild, untamed energy. Right? And I want to be accepted. I want to be accepted for who I'm presenting you, who I am. I don't want to be accepted for my authentic self. And the reason why I don't want to be accepted for my authentic self is because I haven't accepted myself at an authentic level. I look at my face, I look at my hair, and I see somebody that is ugly. So I feel as though I need to put on makeup and I need to put on fake hair so then I can look pretty. Because I haven't accepted my natural state of being. When the reality is, you're doing a lot of work to be somebody that you are not. And the work is deeper into unmasking yourself. Stop showing people who you aren't and start showing people who you are. And if you haven't accepted yourself, then that means that this is where the work is. Learning how to accept your authentic self. It don't matter who's seeing you and who like you or who love you or who judging you. If you haven't developed the true love for yourself, if you look in your mirror and you are a beautiful goddess and you say, I'm ugly, I need some makeup on, or my braids is looking all crazy, I don't like my hair looking all like how it grow out of my hair nappy, right? That's the worst thing that ever been told to us. Because now we look at how our hair grow out of our scalp as nappy, when it is representing the DNA spiral. That's what it is. It ain't nappy. It is representing the cosmos. It's representing your DNA. It's representing an antenna that connects you to the source. And so for my whole life, I seen the society tell women that they weren't good enough by y'all young, but before weaves and quick weaves and that, they said, no, you need to get a perm. And so all of the women was wearing perms, wraps, and all of this shit, but the perm was ruining their brains. And also the perm was disconnecting them from spirit, because your hair is not even your fucking hair. Your hair is your antenna. So when you put something over your hair, you are thus blocking your antenna. So it's not to say that your hair is ugly or nappy. It just is. It's your antenna. But these judgments that you have toward yourself can somewhat block you from your spiritual growth. But, your judgments, they are also parts of your life where you aren't actually healing. What's difficult about the spiritual journey is that you got to stand alone in your spiritual truth. And I said everything that I said, and I know that a motherfucker is going to hear everything that I say and be triggered from all triggered. People gonna look at their social media and see how they go about themselves and feel like I'm talking directly to them. But here I am standing alone on just what I'm on. I'm just here to help people who can hear and help people that can see, because you might be confused out here. You might be trying to get accepted by these fucking weird ass strangers and you haven't even accepted yourself. I don't give a fuck who accept me. I don't give a fuck who love me, because I really do fuck with myself. I really do love myself. I really do trust myself. I really have done the work and will continue to do the work. And the only place that it may lead me is to stand by my goddamn self. Is nobody who can sit, that I can sit here and say, oh, this motherfucker gets me. This person completely understands me. I've not met that person yet. Never have I met that person. When I'm in my truth, when I'm in my authenticity, I ultimately know that I gotta stand by my damn self. Because the moment that I start speaking truth is the moment that people say, Hood, I don't like that. I don't agree with that. You said that I need to do healing on this shit because I wear makeup and I don't like showing my hair. I don't like that. I know that you're going to say that. I know that you want to sit in your fucking ignorance. I know that you want to be degraded by society. I know that you want society to clap you up for your ignorance. You know, I know that. But I got to stand alone in my truth and say, no, you damaging yourself, sister. You damaging yourself. That is not the way to go. Ain't no rhyme or reason for you to not show up in your authentic self. Because when you show up in your authentic self, to me, that is beautiful. But if you don't see the beauty in your authenticity, that's some unhealed trauma shit that you got to actually go through. Because I know for a fact, you can stand in front of a woman and tell her that she's beautiful 1,000,000 days in a row. If she don't say it to herself, it don't fucking matter what you say. Okay? And another reason that spirituality is very difficult is due to temptation, or the idea of temptation. See, temptation to a weak-minded person is the most fundamental aspect of their spiritual pathway. For which, if temptation is a part of your spiritual appetite, you're not even on the spiritual path. I'll give you an example. As a vegan, you should be able to look at a steak and look at it sizzle and sear and still see a fucking dead body, on that goddamn plate. You can see a chicken wing seasoned to perfection. You can see buffalo chicken wing dip. And at the same time, you can say, that's a fucking dead ass, spoiled, rotten ass chicken y'all eating with a whole bunch of hot sauce and cream cheese. I'm good on that. You can walk into a room and smell bacon sizzling and be like, is that a dead fucking pig y'all cooking on that goddamn stove? Smelling like that? With all them chemicals and fat? A pig is 99.7% identical to a human based upon the fat and tissue. So eating a pig is the same as eating a human. And eating a human, you wouldn't even be classified. You would go to jail. You would be a fucking cannibal. So tell me how it's against the law for me to eat a human being, but it's lawful for me to eat a human. And even deeper, you couldn't walk into a goddamn farm and take a bite out of a pig. 10 times out of 10, you wouldn't want to, because you would be disgusted by the smell and how the pig is carrying itself. Thus, how could I ever be tempted from eating? How could I be tempted to eating a fucking hog's ass? So you could progress this thought process into Venus conjunct Pluto, and the man who is tempted by the woman, right? And be like, well, say for instance, you got a husband and he is tempted by a woman. That temptation is not really a temptation. That temptation is a truth. That nigga don't even love you. Think about it. Because if he could be tempted into having sex with another woman, then he would also be a vegan that's tempted to eat meat. See, to love this is something that I know, you progress into love. And when you fully start to love a woman, it's like, I can't love nobody else. You could be the most, and when in the beginning of my spiritual journey, I was tempted because I didn't love my wife the way that I love her now. You see how that works? You love your wife as a progression. And if you don't progress in that love, it's always going to be a fat ass on the left side of your fucking peripheral. Ooh, what is them? Them in some leggings? What is that? Pheromones? And do you know how I know that girls would give me? Do you want to know how I know that women would fuck me? Because when dudes is my homeboy, you know what happens with these girls? They fuck the dudes who my homeboy. If these dudes was not my homeboy, they would not be getting none of this pussy from these girls. They would never, ever smell the pussy. But somehow being connected to me, a woman can do her psychological deductions and reductions to think, well, I ain't gonna have sex with Hood, but at least I can have sex with his homeboy. And I say all of that to say, I know that the temptation is out there, and the temptation ain't fake, and I'm making up shit in my mind and shit like that, because I be talking to my wife like, babe, am I tripping, or is she giving me pussy energy? Like, she want me to fucking crash with no insurance. No, you ain't tripping, babe. I think she wants you to crash, go 180 down the one way with no brakes. She wants you to down that pussy. Okay, babe, I need to do more work in loving you and build our relationship, because this is crazy. And trust me, this is years and years and years and years and years of cycles and patterns for me to come to this obvious conversation that I'm having with y'all. Temptation is a result in your lack of love for your present situation, for which, if you truly love to be a vegan, no steak will tempt you. If you truly loved your wife, I don't care. Y'all know the type of women that I had to be like, you know what, sis? I'm good. I love my wife. I'm good. I love my family. Y'all would be sitting here like, Kyrie, you stupid. Kyrie, you is stupid. Kyrie, you don't make no fuck. You should have hit that ass. I would have hit that ass if I was you. I sit with myself, boy, you done let that ass go. But see, the truth is that was only a result of me loving my wife, because even deeper psychologically, the woman outside of the relationship perceives the man in the relationships and says, I want what that woman has. Because women don't operate as individual planets. All women operate in the same boat. So when you are good to one woman, you invite other women energy into your aura, into your orbit. But these are Jezebels. These are mistresses. These are people who want to disrupt and invade your orbit. You only know it till it's too late. You only know it until you deep and diving into your temptation, and then 2 months later, hell nah, nigga, you ain't gonna be fucking me and acting like you spiritual. No, you was fucking me last weekend at the hotel room, and all of this type of energy. But you don't know that at first. It's all Hotep King, peace and blessings King. I just love your work, and you so spiritual, and I love your wife. Your wife is so deep. And then 10 times out of 10, you look forward, fast forward. Oh, you done let the homie smash. So when you was Hotepping, you should have just said, well, I just want you to smash these cheeks, 'cause I want what your wife has. But that's not a conversation that most people can have, thus creates mistress energy, temptation energy. But as a man, you gotta be fucking wise enough to see all of this shit and how this shit is gonna play out. Can't no bitch seduce me. Even when I'm seduced, I get fucking triggered. Don't seduce me. You know I'm married. I don't like that. You'll get on the block list. Get on the block list. See, the difference between me and other people is I'm not trying to be deep. I'm just normal. See, when you a fake deep motherfucker, you got real temptation. You got real distractions from your purpose. When you are aligned to your purpose and you know that your structure and your foundation is bent upon your fucking wife and your family, can't nothing like you. It's like how you going refoundate what I'm building? You can't take the foundation away, because if you take the foundation away, I gotta create a whole goddamn new situation, and I don't got time for that. Okay, so if you fake, you will be tempted by these women. If you a fake vegan, you will be tempted by some steak. But to do the work is to get into the science of why am I vegan? Oh yeah, I don't like eating dead flesh. So as long as you, however much you want to season that pussy up and leg it, whatever the fuck, I'm completely dedicated to this spiritual kingdom and foundation of masculine and feminine energy. It's not a facade with me. But ultimately, the question comes within your spiritual journey is not about what you're talking about. Because I done said a whole bunch of shit. I done a whole bunch of shit. But who I am is a wife to my, a husband to my wife, and a father to my children. That is where my compassion lies. No matter what I'm experiencing, if my children are suffering, I suffer with them. If my wife is suffering, I suffer with them. These are part of my soul contracts. So part of my work to do down here is to figure this part out. Because a large part of me is saying, well, I'm spiritual. I haven't figured out why isn't I'm in a goddamn Lear jet somewhere. But that's not part of my soul contract. That's not a part of my mission down here. Part of my mission is to figure out who I am and develop compassion, which is the way for ascended master or a bodhisattva. And because of that, it makes it a lot more easier, and it makes it a lot more me willing to know my personal purpose and to deal with the things that I need to deal with and not escape it and run from it and be confused as to why things aren't working out the way that it is for me. Because ultimately, part of my journey is understanding who I am within my family. The things that my son says to me are the most triggering, emotional things that anybody could say to me. And that's because that's the work that I need to do. For which, if my son was going to say something to me and it wasn't going to inspire me to do work, then it's not like, let me rephrase that. If my son was going to say something to me and it didn't trigger me, it just wouldn't trigger me. But if my son can say something to me that triggers me, then I could easily say, boy, shut up. Go play with your brothers, or get out of my face, or internalize it as to why did that trigger me? What work do I need to do to better my situation in here? Because obviously my child is a reflection of me, and he's going to speak to me in the way that I need to be spoken to, because ain't nobody going to talk to me the way that Azor talked to me. He going to call me on my bullshit, because that is my teacher. That's my leader, right? And it's like, when you a family and you got kids, it's hard for you to conceptualize that you giving birth to your leader or the person that's going to guide you or help you into this shit. You just think it's your kid. You just think that that's the person that you're supposed to protect and guide and support and all of that. But when I think about it, it's like, damn, shit that he be telling me, it be making me feel some type of way. And I'm just like, I could get mad at this little boy, or I can get to work. And really, he be inspiring me because he the one who, I can't be fake with my son, because my son gonna always be there and see me and be perceiving the shit like, and he only gonna speak it from a real space, from an authentic space. Because I'm gonna tell you, until you have children, you are never loved. Your children are the people who love you. Think about it. Your children love you unconditionally. And so the things that they say to you come from an unconditional space. It's only from your hierarchical position of parent that you begin to chastise and treat them bad for them triggering you emotionally, as opposed to you saying, well, if nobody else is going to give me guidance, then who's going to give me guidance? Well, then your children are. If nobody is going to give me love, then where's the love coming from? I'm talking about the tough love, the hard love. Where does it come from? It comes from your children. Okay? Now, I stated this a little earlier, but this is something that I have to do. I also have a book. Not a book like I'm selling, but mad books in my room that I need to get rid of, right? Because part of my ego is these books have elevated me and brought me to a place of elevation. But at a certain level, they just taking up space, because how can I say that I am the book, but then rely on all of these books for references, bibliography, research, etc., right? All of the bullshit that I tell myself that I need these books for. Now, books could be my level of hoarding. Some of y'all spiritually hoard through readings, through videos, through useless data and useless notes, and you just collect notes and collect information and collect readings and tarot cards and all the, let's not forget crystals. I got all my crystals. I got all my this. I got all my that. I got all of my beads. You got a certain area within your spiritual life where you have been hoarding. You surround yourself by all of this stuff spiritual. What's the key though? You are the spiritual apparatus. You are the book. Okay? Since we can't escape what we are, we can carry it with us everywhere we go. But ultimately, are you a result of your collection? Or are you a result of your giving? Now, if you don't give at the highest level, it is because you are wounded. At a child level, you have abandonment issues and you weren't loved properly by a masculine energy as a child. You were taken advantage of by masculine energy. And so now you have to protect yourself quite naturally. Because the people who are supposed to protect you were the people that took advantage of you. So now you have to protect yourself. So you protect yourself through your knowledge, through your books, through your crystals, through your whatever the fuck you imagine yourself to that makes you spiritual. And you know, the first time you go into spirituality, and you walk into like a botanica, or you know people that's spiritual, and you come over their house, they got the books, they got the shit set up. You like, wow, this motherfucker really spiritual. This motherfucker doing it, you know? And then you go to the bookstore, you might see a book, you might see a crystal. Ooh, that crystal, $20? I ain't about to spend $20 on no crystal. Fast forward 2 years later, you that nigga, right? You got everything set up. You done spent $100 on a crystal now. You know, you big boss hog. Like, they know you in the botanica. Hey, Charmaine, welcome back. We got the crystal you ordered on pre-order. Y'all know me. You walking in there with your goddamn drapery, goddamn whatever you wearing, your dashiki flowing in the fucking air when you walked in the botanica and shit like that. Motherfuckers just know you, right? And now all of a sudden, you taking that as your spiritual identity, right? You taking this as your spiritual identity when these were all tools that were to bring you into the understanding of you being the spiritual apparatus, you being the instrument, you being the device, you being the crystal, you being the dashiki, right? This is all representing you, not the things that you've bought or the things that you can afford, because you know, the first time you walked into the crystal store and said, "Oh, y'all want $100 for that incense sensor?" Man, I don't think I can afford it. Then you got your income taxes. You put out a special budget for the fucking Botanica. Tell me I'm lying. When you got that lump sum of money, you did what you needed to do. You paid the bills, and you like, man, I can't wait to go to this fucking Botanica and ball the fuck out, right? Got all types of incense. Got all types of shit. Yeah, I told y'all I'll be back. Charge. I just put the goddamn credit card. Hey, you gonna charge this motherfucker today, boy. Just hold this credit card. I'm about to shop. Come here, incense sensor. I've been looking for you. It make the beautiful smoke. It go down in back and forth patterns. I'm gonna put my incense cones on it. Right? You know what that is, though? Let me be the first to tell you. That is a facade. That is a mask. It's a spiritual mask, but it's a facade and a mask nonetheless, until you get to your pure spiritual energy that requires time, dedication, persistence. Y'all gonna just keep flipping y'all lump sums into the Botanica, trying to buy your way into heaven, but understand, that's Christian energy masquerading as spirituality. That's reduced to Catholicism, where the Catholic priest told everybody, if you don't have money, you can't get into heaven. Now, this is a pervasive idea, a ubiquitous idea that has been pervading our minds in every aspect of our being, where we just really trying to buy our way into heaven, as opposed to doing the work. Y'all gonna have to hold this credit card, because I'm about to go in and this motherfucker. Y'all might have to keep it for a couple of days. I'm about to be up in this bitch going ham. Dashikis, candles, incense, herbs. What else do I need? Books. I need books. I need a book on tarot, a book on knitting. Don't ask me why. I can't sew, but I'm gonna get to it one day. Is the worst shit you could ever say to yourself in reference to the spiritual journey, because what the fuck do you gotta get to? And will you actually get there? I don't know. But how much does your guidance cost? It can cost anywhere from thousands of dollars if you're not willing to do the work. And it could cost as little as, buying a book or two. But it's all in relation to your ability to do the work that you are willing to do to connect to yourself. If I can inspire you to do that, well, it didn't cost y'all nothing to watch this video. Right? But ultimately, doing that today is not going to be you doing it next week. I can assume that y'all will be doing the connecting and grounding work, but I would guarantee that y'all probably wouldn't be. Because y'all imagine that it's a monetary value associated with everything, including your ability to tune in and tap in to your soul, to ground, to do fucking root locks and ground near a tree. That shit free, fam. we be pulling up into parks across the nation. You pull up into a park like you own that bitch, right? You just pull up in that motherfucker. They don't say nothing. They be like, hey, how you doing? Welcome to the park. Get out your car, walk around, make yourself at home. It don't cost nothing for you to come to this park. It's actually free. Look, it's all types of trees. You can, take your shoes off, ground with any one of these trees, free of charge. You don't have no value to that. Thus, you feel like, well, I've been paying this money for this spiritual class that I'm in, and it didn't say that I needed to go to the forest and ground with trees. So it said that I need to carry this bowl of water on the top of my head and juggle. So I've been carrying this bowl of water on my head with my intentions. So I wrote my intentions down on a piece of paper. I put it on this bowl of water. I put it on my head, and I got 3 red balls. The 3 red balls, I wrote my intentions on it. And so I juggled it. And the goal is to juggle these 3 red balls without the water falling. And if the water don't fall, that means my attention is coming fast. However, if the water falls off my head, it don't mean that I'm not going to get my attention. It's just going to take a little longer. Who told you that? Yeah, I take this class. I'll be paying, it costs $3,000 for it. Yeah, so if I paid $3,000 for the class, it must be true. How can I pay $3,000 for a class and it not be actual and factual? That don't make no sense. I paid $3,000. Like, you telling me that I could walk to a park and take my shoes off and get the same energy for free that I spent $3,000 for this class? I don't think so. I think that the person that I'm talking to that I spent this money on is going to help me way more than connecting and grounding to the earth. You crazy. So the reality of spiritual life is more based upon a facade of spirituality. It's more based upon a psychological sophistication. I put out a meme the other day and somebody commented, oh, this is so simple. Like, what was you waiting for? Me to drop some complex mathematical computations and this was going to elevate you into some spiritual shit? No, it's supposed to be simple. Like, it's dependent on relativity. I do this all the time. Me lifting my right hand require a lot of nerves and a lot of synapses and a complicated multiple. It's extremely complicated when you get into the mathematical computations of lifting my right hand like this. However, when I'm lifting my right hand like this, my mind saying lift my right hand is a simple process. To connect myself to my spirituality, yes, it might be extremely complicated and extremely mathematical and extremely scientifical. But since I am a child of the Most High, all is mine and the mind is all. I just have to learn how to utilize my mind as the instrument or as the controller for my spiritual energy. And this takes time. This takes persistence. This takes me being present, and it don't cost no money at all. $0. If you serious about your spiritual life and you serious about your spiritual growth, you ain't got to spend shit. That's the reality. I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't gonna waste none of your time. If you're willing to do this work, if you're willing to follow your intuition, if you're willing to get off the fucking rat race, if you're willing to get off the treadmill, if you're willing to let your creativity speak for you, if you're willing to develop your creativity, if you're willing to learn how to connect with people, I tell you, you can have one conversation with somebody and you could be rich for the rest of your life. What is the saying? See, y'all ain't old school. Y'all don't know what it's like to be dealing with people and talking to people. People will tell you this. It ain't what you know. It is who you know. So your 11th house is the most important house when it comes to your finances. Here you are, you working hard, you studying shit, you developing shit. You can make the world's best product, but don't nobody know who the fuck you are. And now you just sitting here in the fucking echo chamber just hoping that people hear you from some, like, I pray that they find me and hear me. Yet and still you're not working on your 11th house, putting yourself out there. I got the mystery school, and people will be like, yeah, I joined the mystery school, but did you post? No, I ain't post. I just be watching what other people post. That ain't what I started the mystery school for. I posted it so you could get your voice out and kind of, you know, have an audience for the things that you have to say. Right? Put yourself out there. But put yourself out there and provide value. You know, that's kind of part of it. Trying to be sophisticated, trying to get pretty, and not really doing no work, that's going to have you looking stupid, right? And ultimately, a lot of y'all in the spiritual community is going out sad, out here looking stupid, because you refuse to evolve and you refuse to learn new information. You keep pulling from the past, and that's like pulling up goddamn skeletons and things of that nature and acting like it's a body. It's not a body, it's a skeleton. Okay? So, man, this has been a wonderful, we done made it through it together. I put a lot of energy and effort into this episode only for y'all to get some enjoyment from it, get some laughter from it. One of my main goals is that y'all laughed a little bit, laughed and learned, and then realized that you probably got a lot of work to do, which we all got a lot of work to do. It's only the people who come into my energy who imagine that they don't got a lot of work to do, for which 2022, if you imagining and you putting yourself together like, oh, I'm the fucking head honcho, I got my shit together, my spiritual life is together, whatever, you just going to get on the block list, fam. I'm not even wasting time with y'all energy in 2022. If you, man, we got so much work to do that if we not working towards it and we just all kissing somebody's ass, then, you know, that fucking ass is just going to be nice and polished and ain't no work going to be done. So for the people that's really trying to do some work, congratulations, you figured it out. For the people here trying to get their ass kissed, enjoy it for while it lasts, because the ass kissing will stop very soon. But with all that being said, man, follow us on Instagram at The Hood Mystic. Follow my business page at the Columbian Exchange. Also, get your herbs, get your books, get all of the things you need to do, only if you're willing to do the work. The things that you buy from the store is not going to save you by purchasing them. I'm going to give y'all this disclaimer. If you get the voodoo cleaner and you don't use it to clean your house, how the fuck is it going to help you clean? Like, it don't even make no sense. So take a teaspoon, take a small amount of it. See, how you going to use voodoo cleaner and you don't even clean up, first of all? So part of it is you going to have a cleaning routine, meaning like what you clean up with. You don't got no cleaning supplies? Well, that's the first thing. You add a little bit of voodoo cleaner to your cleaning supplies and it cleans the energy in your home. This is something that we use in our homes whenever we want to get our prosperity in order, get our lives back in track. Whenever me and my wife somewhat disconnected, we clean with the voodoo cleaner and it does something spiritually to our surroundings. That's a product we have available at Columbian Exchange. But I'm saying this all to say, if you're not cleaning up your house, buying a goddamn voodoo cleaner is not going to clean your house vicariously through purchasing it. Nor does any of our products heal just simply because you purchase it. We put these products up because we imagine that people are ready and willing to do the work, and we just provide the spiritual tools that'll help you do the work. Now, buying the tools will not fix the house. You can utilize the tools to fix the house, but just buying the tools, I got a hammer, I got a screwdriver, I got nails, and I'm just waiting for them bitches to start doing their magic and start fixing the house. It don't work like that. So let me get up off this goddamn YouTube streets and get back to these real streets. I got some orders to fill. I got some readings to do. All of these could be accomplished and accessed at Columbian Exchange. The links will be in the descriptions. Before I get off here, be sure to check out the article. Be sure to join the mystery school. And if you have read the article and you are a part of the mystery school, go ahead and post something. Say, hey, gang, this is what I've been going through. Has anybody else been going through this? Talk, stop being fucking isolated and then imagining that your isolation and your observation is you doing the work. No, put yourself out there, fam. Better yourself. Deal with your triggers. Let's get some work done. Please hit the like, show some support. Give a shout out to Straight Panther for holding the chat down, and all my chat soldiers out there keeping that conversation lively and letting me know, hey, Hood, we can't hear you. But with that being said, man, y'all have a wonderful week, and you know where to find me if you need me. I'll be in the mystery school chilling. Peace.
They portray us in the media. If you see a black family, it says they're looting. You see a white family, it says they're looking for food. And you know it's been 5 days because most of the people are black. And even for me to complain about, I would be a hypocrite because I've tried to turn away from the TV because it's too hard to watch. I've even been shopping before even giving a donation. So now I'm calling my business manager right now to see what is the biggest amount I can give, and just to imagine if I was down there, and those are my people down there. So anybody out there that wants to do anything that we can help with the setup, the way America is set up to help the poor, the black people, the less well off as slow as possible. I mean, this is Red Cross is doing everything they can. We already realize a lot of the people that could help are at war right now, fighting another way, and they've given them permission to go down and shoot us. George Bush doesn't care about black people.
You are now tapped in with the Hood Mystic. Your favorite astrologer's favorite astrologer. Time to tap in now.